Chapter 16-17. The carefree soul pearl was only a crystal formed by the soul energy in the soul cleansing sea. It was a rare item. At this moment, Mu vaguely understood something. She wasn't slow or stupid. The moment she saw the carefree soul pearl, she recalled what had happened on this trip and guessed something. You left earlier to return to the island and snatch this carefree soul pearl from the hands of the people on the island? Mu's eyes reddened. But at this moment, the huge suction force from the cauldron made it difficult for her to move. Her soul was disappearing at an extremely fast speed, especially when Fairy Meng put the carefree soul pearl into the cauldron. An even stronger suction force suddenly erupted from the cauldron, quickly pulling Mu and Shang Jun's souls into it. Not enough. Still not enough. A violent roar came from the cauldron again. Fairy Meng ignored Mu and frowned slightly. Then, she said in a low voice, "There is still one more soul. I believe this soul should satisfy you." After saying that, Fairy Meng looked at the golden light pillar on the island with a deep gaze. A cold snort came from the cauldron. Why? Mu's soul became more and more transparent. Her body slowly disappeared from the bottom, but the angry roar was very loud, as if it was not the voice she should be emitting. Fairy Meng glanced at her indifferently and did not say a word. That gaze was very strange. There was the indifference of looking down on all living beings, but there was also a sigh. Fairy Meng, Shang Jun muttered, after the souls of the human race were forced out of the Styx waterfall. Almost the entire human race was in a state of huddling together, whether they were immortal cultivators or other experts when they were alive. Basically, they were united in order to let their souls survive. In order to let the souls of ordinary humans be able to fight against the demonic souls. Every once in a while, they would choose some human souls with good qualifications to be taught and nurtured, to increase the combat power of the human side. For example, Fairy Meng was a very famous immortal cultivator in the surrounding hundreds of islands. Not only because she came from Cloud Gathering Island, but also because she often helped the surrounding islands to kill the demonic souls that had recently drifted over from the end of the waterfall. She had high prestige and was very strong. Her appearance could be said to satisfy almost all the requirements of a fairy among cultivators. Even if it was just a soul, her charm was enough to kill anyone. But Mu didn't expect. She said, "There is another soul. Could it be Wang Outyin?" Mu's eyes were somewhat dazed as she looked at the light pillar in the distance. Her soul consciousness gradually became blurry. "It's my fault." This thought flashed through Mu's mind before her soul consciousness dissipated. Meanwhile, in the highest palace on the island, vast amounts of soul energy seemed to fall from the array in the sky, rushing towards Wang Feng's location like rivers returning to the sea. It was as if Wang Feng's body was going to explode. Success. Meng Yuanqing looked at Wang Feng with a complicated expression. What a pity. It is indeed a pity. If our human race's situation hadn't reached such a stage, this child might really be able to become the savior of the world. His soul aptitude is indeed too good. Such a pure soul, coupled with the soul energy stored in our sect, rushed in all at once. He was unable to withstand it and could only disperse his soul. However, Senior Brother Meng's soul-controlling body severing technique was able to preserve his soul. As a sacrifice, the people around Meng Yuanqing shook their heads, but there wasn't much emotion in their eyes. This child's heart is pure. He didn't do anything evil when he was alive. He didn't even suspect much. That's why he has such a pure soul. It's a pity, as they murmured in low voices. At this time, a low voice came from the golden light in the center of the array. "Hey," I said, "why are you doing this? What's your purpose? I'm about to die. Can't you let me die, understand?" Hearing this voice, Meng Yuanqing and the other cultivators stilled. "Fine. Our mysterious heaven sect is a righteous sect in the cloud coming domain. We've never done anything that goes against our Tao heart. It's good that you understand." Meng Yuanqing looked at the sky and said, "Child, in your eyes, we're high and mighty cultivators. Even if we die, we're still extremely powerful. In the cloud-coming domain, our mysterious heaven sect is the leader of the righteous sect, the leader of the immortal Tao in the world. We've inherited the legacy of a mortal cloud coming. But after he died, we did such a thing. We secretly used you ordinary human souls as vessels to do things that go against our Tao heart. But, speaking of this, Meng Yuanqing's eyes turned cold. Senior Marshal Brother Meng, a man next to him warned, "Be careful of traps." Traps? Meng Yuanqing smiled and said, "He's just an ordinary human soul. What traps can he have?" And the soul-controlling body-severing art has been completed. No matter how strange he is, it's useless. What's the harm in telling him? Since we came out of the Nether River waterfall, there's only a slim chance of survival for us human souls. The man sighed and shook his head. "From what you said, you're hiding something." Wang Feng's voice came slowly. It got lower and lower, as if it would disappear at any time. "Not really," Meng Yuanqing said lightly. "Child, you don't understand. This soul world is much more complicated than you think. We're not doing this to let those ordinary human souls fade away. On the contrary, you're doing this for them." Wang Feng asked in surprise. "Not completely. It's for ourselves," Meng Yuanqing said slowly. "A demon god's soul has descended into the soul-washing sea. We basically have no chance of entering the reincarnation well. It's because the demon god's soul is too powerful. It's not something we can resist." "Isn't it just a demon god? Is it that exaggerated?" Wang Feng said, "You cultivators have always believed in going against the heavens. You inherited the immortals' orthodoxy. Is a demon god enough to suppress you to the point that you can't even breathe?" "A demon god?" Meng Yuanqing shook his head and laughed self-deprecatingly. "It's far more than one demon god. That imperial demon god is just a demon god who publicly appeared in the soul-washing sea. In fact, not long ago, a second demon god descended into the soul world. And this demon god hates us humans to the core. He didn't go to the soul-washing sea. Instead, he came to the area outside of the Nether River. The demon god's soul is unbelievably powerful. He didn't directly destroy all of our human souls. Instead, he turned them into countless demonic thoughts and landed on various small islands." Hearing this, Wang Feng let out a long. To him, destroying us is as simple as a sneeze. But this demon god didn't do that. Instead, he made a deal with us. As long as we continuously bring him the best human souls, not only will he not attack us, he'll even take us into the reincarnation well. "You believe the demon god's words?" Wang Feng asked. "We have no choice but to believe," Meng Yuanqing said faintly. Meng Yuan said calmly, "If we don't do that, he will immediately destroy all of our human souls." Wang Feng, "Every once in a while, we'll go and collect the souls of ordinary humans. Sometimes, we can't find any and can only rely on ourselves." Meng Yuanqing looked at the sky again. "We're cultivators and don't have much affection for ordinary humans. But our Ascension Heavenly Sect is a righteous sect and won't kill the innocent. Even souls are the same. Because you're a soul, once you disappear, you won't even have the chance to transcend. You'll disappear forever. So, I fulfilled your wish and told you this." Wang Feng was silent for a while after hearing this. Chapter 16:18. The hall fell silent for a while. After a while, "Haven't you ever thought that the other party is playing with you? Why would a demon god need a human soul?" Wang Feng said, Why hasn't his soul faded yet?" Meng Yuanqing felt a little strange, but he still answered, "Even if he's playing with us, we have no choice." Meng Yuanqing's words carried a hint of bitterness. Some of us suspected it, but they were all killed by him in a few hours. Not even a trace of soul energy was left. It did not feel good to be at the mercy of others. Wang Feng could not confirm whether what they said was true or not. However, considering the situation, it did not make any sense for them to lie to him. It was most likely true. As for that demon god, Wang Feng probably knew who he was. "That's a pity." Wang Feng sighed. "Sorry, I don't like the taste of being at the mercy of others." Led by Meng Yuanqing, The cultivators of Yunlai Island frowned when they heard this. However, as soon as Wang Feng finished speaking, suddenly, the beam of soul energy began to twist and turn like a tornado. Then it slowly shrank and finally disappeared completely as if it had been absorbed, until Wang Feng's figure appeared. For a moment, Meng Yuanqing was stunned and did not come to his senses at all. The other cultivators were the same. You. Meng Yuanqing looked at Wang Feng in a daze. No, the soul-driving body, severing technique, is the supreme technique of the demon Dao. It's impossible for an ordinary human soul to break free from it. Wang Feng looked at them with a heavy heart. Let me ask you a question. Wang Feng suddenly said, I've observed this place. Although the soul energy on this smiling path is very rich, it's impossible to gather such a huge torrent of soul energy just now. How did you accumulate it? Meng Yuanqing opened his mouth. Naturally, we sacrifice the souls of those ordinary humans. The man beside Meng Yuanqing replied slowly. Senior, where are you from? Ordinary human souls? Although Wang Feng had guessed it, he was still stunned for a long time. Just to sacrifice them to that demon god? I'm thinking, what's the difference between you and the soul demon? Senior, you think it's a lot. The soul of a middle-aged man with a big belly walked out. Even at this time, they had already noticed Wang Feng's extraordinariness. But they did not panic too much. Wang Feng could see from their eyes that they were in a state of numbness. Not much, Wang Feng said. With such a huge amount of soul energy, you must have collected at least hundreds of thousands of human souls. Senior, do you know that our cloud-gathering island went from having several hundred people in the past to less than 100 now? Meng Yuanqing came back to his senses and smiled. There are indeed hundreds of thousands of human souls. Because these human souls aren't of high quality, it's useless to offer them directly to that demon god. Only by gathering them together will they be useful. But Senior definitely doesn't know that this is the result of our control. If it weren't for the sacrifice of our Cloud-Gathering Island's disciples, the Cloud-Gathering Island's Cloud-Gathering Island wouldn't have survived. This number needed to be multiplied by tens of times. Only then can we satisfy that demon god's appetite. But it's different for someone like you, Senior. Perhaps just one of you is enough to satisfy this demonic god. With that, Meng Yuanqing waved his hand behind him. In an instant, countless memorial tablets appeared in the hall. I died once in Cloud Coming Jia. Only after becoming a soul would one truly die. These memorial tablets are just for the sake of commemoration. Tens of thousands of powerful cultivators died in the battle between Cloud Coming Jia and the dark demon Jia. Their souls were sucked into the soul world, and most of them became nourishment for this world. Meng Yuanqing's tone was calm. After retreating to the area outside the Nether River waterfall, there were only 100 or so people left. After encountering that demon god, the number of souls decreased even more. To be blunt, the souls of those normal humans can't compare to the soul of one of our disciples. Even if they're reincarnated, the cultivators of Cloud-Gathering Island have only collected hundreds of thousands of human souls in these days. His tone was calm, as though the hundreds of thousands of human souls were very few. Indeed, compared to the number of human souls now, it was very few. In the area outside the Nether River waterfall, there were countless islands of various sizes, and the number of human souls was very large, in the hundreds of millions. You probably just don't want to collect too many human souls to avoid disturbing the entire human population in the soul world. Wang Feng shook his head and said, when normal soul demons appear, they can casually destroy a few small islands, and there will be tens of thousands of humans. It's just easy to find an excuse. Maybe Wang Feng was right. Meng Yuanqing was silent. Wang Feng looked at this group of people. When he came to the reincarnation well, he didn't expect the situation to be so absurd. In fact, when he first saw Fairy Ming, he felt that something was wrong. He originally thought that it was not strange for these cultivators to collect human souls for their own cultivation. After all, cultivators had all kinds of strange cultivation methods, and it was normal for them to use human souls to cultivate their own souls. The soul energy in this place was so weak, and everyone wanted to live. The longer they lived, the more likely they would have to be reincarnated. The number of souls of normal humans was so large. For cultivators, these souls of normal humans were like ants, and they could be collected at will. But he didn't expect this to be the reason. Wang Feng closed his eyes, and the shadow of an axe slowly condensed in his hand. If one looked closely, they would find that the shadow of the axe was more solid than before. The soul energy just now had improved the deduction progress of the Pangu axe martial soul by a small part. However, after learning the origin of the soul energy, Wang Fengxin was not happy. Human. Wang Feng spat out 2 words. After all, he was also a human. Although, at his level and experience, hundreds of thousands of human souls would not make him feel too much. But they were still compatriots. I won't kill you for now. I'll leave one of your souls and deal with it later. Wang Feng said, Where is the will of that demon god? Mu Rou and the other 2 were also sacrificed by you, right? Although the axe was just a shadow, it exuded a terrible momentum that could destroy the world and split the sky. Even if Wang Feng's soul was not strong, the axe in his hand made Meng Yuanqing and the other cultivators tremble. It was as if they could be easily killed with just a light swing of the axe. Immortal cultivators were far more sensitive to danger than ordinary human beings. They felt the premonition of their souls disappearing from the axe. It's at the sacrificial cauldron under the mountain. Meng Yuanqing's voice was a little choked. Wang Fengxin moved, and his soul disappeared. The next moment, he appeared directly above the sacrificial cauldron under the mountain. At this time, Mu Rou and Shang Jun were almost completely sucked into the cauldron. Wang Feng did not hesitate and directly swung the axe at the sacrificial cauldron. The destructive axe light was like the first ray of divine light that opened the world. It was only for a moment, but it was eternal. Boom! The sacrificial cauldron was directly shattered. A demonic shadow flew out from inside and let out a strange laugh. In an instant, Fairy Ming, who was at the side, was stunned. She screamed and rushed toward the broken sacrificial cauldron without thinking. She lost her composure and shouted, Demon God, please spare my life. I'm willing to sacrifice myself. Please don't blame our cloud gathering island. Her actions stunned Wang Feng. For a moment, he could not understand. Yeah, I'm in a good mood to meet an old friend. I can let Cloud Gathering Island go. But I'm willing to sacrifice myself. This is what you said. A soul that willingly appears is delicious. You cultivator souls are really good. Ha ha. The demonic shadow laughed and slowly revealed a figure. Seeing this, Wang Feng's tone was calm, as if he had already guessed it. Long time no see. You really do make me miss you a lot. Huang Hai Demon God, source of starting from Douluo. Chapter 16-19. The demonic figure was demon god Huang Hai, the one who got the demonic chi and disappeared in the dark demon realm. Wang Feng looked at him quietly without any change in his expression, because he had already guessed it when he was in the dark demon realm. After demon god Huang Hai got the demonic chi and disappeared, Wang Feng had even personally gone to the Abyss Sea Devil Domain to look for it, and he had even fallen into the trap left behind by demon god Huang Hai. Demon god Huang Hai did not go to any wormhole and stayed in the dark demon realm, but the Clear Sky Palace could not find him. That was ridiculous. At that time, Wang Feng had roughly guessed that the desolate sea demon god could only have gone to one place. That was the reincarnation well, because only by going to that place would he disappear from the dark demon realm. Even demon gods could not sense his aura. He could even avoid the detection of the demon god Tian Su. Therefore, when Wang Feng learned that there was a demon god soul in this area, he knew that demon god Huang Hai's soul might be hiding somewhere here, or near the reincarnation well. It was definitely not just the soul of a demon god. TSK, this sovereign knew that you would definitely come to this world. Demon god Huang Hai's demonic figure looked at Wang Feng. His body was like a flame being blown by a strong wind, and his demonic figure kept changing. Oh, you were so aware? Wang Feng smiled. You know you can't escape from me. All right, stop pretending. Emperor. No, human. You're already dead. If I'm not wrong, You must have died because of the black tide, right? Demon god Huang Hai roared with laughter. Otherwise, they would have been destroyed by that ancestor demon. Other than that, there was no other possibility. You're still pretending in front of me. After that, he glanced at the axe in Wang Feng's hand. You are right. Wang Feng nodded and did not deny it. I am indeed dead. You created the black tide in the dark demon realm, but the demon ancestor is also the reason. I have to say, you are very cunning. The arrangements of the black tide should have been planned a long time ago, right? But Wang Feng paused and looked at him with a faint smile. Aren't you the same? After getting the demonic chi, you have nowhere to run, so you can only hide here? If you're not dead, would you have come here? Unfortunately, you did not use the demonic chi you spent so much effort to get, right? Wang Feng did not think that Huang Hai was killed by someone. He must have abandoned his demonic body and came to this world in a dead state. It was even possible that he was trying to preserve that strand of demonic chi so that he could be reborn with that strand of demonic chi. Then, with a new form, he could cultivate all the way to the top and reach the top of the universe. After all, the demonic chi was Huang Hai demon realm. As for Desolate Ocean, he did not dare to use that wisp of demonic chi in the dark devil world. If he did, it would definitely cause a phenomenon, and he would be exposed immediately. By then, he might be killed by the many demon gods before he could even become a universe-level life form. Therefore, he could only come to the reincarnation well and find another way. Anyway, as long as that strand of demonic aura was still there, it could become a cosmic life form. Huang Hai's plan could be said to be extremely extreme. Once he obtained the demonic chi, he would enter the reincarnation well and reincarnate with the demonic chi. This way, it would be very difficult for the dark demon realm to discover him, because the demonic gods couldn't control the well of reincarnation. No one knew where the desolate sea demon god had reincarnated to. With the methods of the demonic gods, if they took the initiative to reincarnate, they would definitely leave behind opportunities, clues, and resources in the various worlds in advance. Then, after reincarnating, they would slowly find their memories to ensure that they could cultivate smoothly and reach the peak again. The Fiend Celestials might not have thought of such a scheme. However, Wang Feng had thought of this possibility when he failed to find Fiend Celestial Desolate Sea in the Abyss Sea Fiend Zone. Do you know a lot? Huang Hai laughed loudly. But isn't the entire dark demon world being toyed around by me? So what if he died? It's just a demonic body. It's a pity. Demon god Huang Hai looked at Wang Feng. His demonic shadow revealed a ferocious face. Your soul is very weak now, but I'm different. It's indeed different, said Wang Feng indifferently. As a fiend celestial, he was reduced to devouring human souls. With the nobility of you demon gods, wouldn't devouring the souls of ordinary humans stain your reputation? Human, you don't have to trick me. Such petty tricks are meaningless to me, said demonic god Huang Hai calmly. This demonic god Huang Hai was very cunning. He didn't fall for it at all. Wang Feng was indeed baffled by Desolate Sea's actions. Although Huang Hai had died by shedding his own demonic body, his demonic soul was still extremely powerful. He didn't need to devour human souls at all. He could just go straight to the well of reincarnation. Even if he had suffered some injuries and needed to devour human souls to recover, he still wouldn't be able to do so. With his methods, why would he need to threaten the cultivators of Cloud Gathering Island? Although Meng Yuanqing and the other cultivators sensed that something was wrong, they didn't have a choice. But no matter what, there must be some unknown reason and purpose behind this. Even if you don't say it, I can guess. Wang Feng smiled. It has something to do with the well of reincarnation in Yama Lord, right? Guess as you wish. But today, your soul is destined to disappear here. Huang Hai's voice was flat. With that, Huang Hai's demonic shadow instantly changed. In an instant, countless soul shadows flew out of his body. They were the souls of humans. They covered the sky and covered the earth. Every human soul's face was filled with numbness and fear, as if they were experiencing something terrible. Wang Feng frowned slightly. His pupils constricted as he realized something. Huang Hai wants to escape? I'm afraid even he didn't expect to meet me here. Was that calm look just now all an act? Looking at the soul shadows, Wang Feng looked coldly in Huang Hai's direction. As expected, that guy had turned into a ray of light and disappeared. Haha, I still have some human souls that I haven't devoured directly. Just nice, I'll give them to you. If you could be ruthless enough to attack me, I don't deserve to be played by you. Huang Hai's leisurely voice sounded. Clang! An ancient sound came from afar. In an instant, those human souls rushed toward Wang Feng crazily, as if they had heard an order. In a split second, Wang Feng's mind flashed with doubt. This desolate sea demon god is truly an extremely cunning fellow. Wang Fengxin said. He actually chose to escape. Looks like he saw the power of Pangu's axe in the soul demon sacred city. He doesn't want to be at a disadvantage. But it's true that my soul is weak. He didn't even attack me and chose to escape? What a coward. But do you think you can stop me with such a method? Wang Feng sneered. Chapter 16:20. Shake! Wang Feng shouted as he looked at the souls dancing in the sky. His soul emitted a huge amount of soul energy, which turned into invisible soul sound waves, spreading out in all directions like turbulent sea waves. It was the primal chaos 8 notes that he had not used for a long time. Ever since he entered the divine realm, Wang Feng had rarely used the primal chaos 8 notes. Basically, he relied on the power of origin to fight. Although Wang Feng had continuously improved the primal chaos 8 notes, it was still far from the power of origin. It was not very useful against demon gods. Especially after he entered the dark demon realm, he had not used it at all. But now, as the secret spirit technique that Wang Feng had created, it was comparable to the 9 secrets heaven-shrouding secret arts. Now, it was extremely useful. Especially in the soul world, this secret spirit technique might be even more useful than the power of origin. In that instant, countless human souls seemed to have been frozen in time as they stood rooted to the ground. You can't escape. Wang Feng stared into the distance. The Pangu axe in his hand gradually solidified. Just now, he had coincidentally absorbed a large amount of soul energy and strengthened the Pangu axe by a small amount. According to the recovery rate of the primordial origin, it should be around 1%. Even this 1% was much more powerful than the Pangu axe martial soul from before. Even though Wang Feng's soul was very weak and could not unleash much of its power, it was still the remnant soul of the Pangu axe that had become stronger. The Pangu axe in his hand trembled slightly. Wang Fengxin could feel it. Then he stood in place and swung the axe down. The axe light seemed to have penetrated through space and slashed down toward the demonic figure. As expected, the Pangu axe martial soul is slowly recovering. It will also give birth to powerful abilities. Wang Fengxin was shocked. This axe light penetrated through space and locked onto the demonic figure of the desolate sea demon god that had almost disappeared from sight. It was different from before. In the past, even if Wang Feng had the Pangu axe, he would not have been able to cut down the demonic figure. Soul energy locked, it is not restricted by space. Even if he escapes to the soul-cleansing sea, he will not be able to avoid this axe light. As the axe light slashed down in the distance, they saw a light curtain suddenly explode, and they could vaguely hear a few cold and shrill screams. An enormous and evil soul energy exploded from afar. This demonic will should have gathered most of the demonic will of the desolate sea demon god, which was why its soul energy was so massive after it was destroyed. Compared to what he had absorbed in the palace, it was many times larger. Wang Feng looked at the Pangu axe in his hand and thought to himself that it was indeed a great killing weapon. If this thing could be used to mend the remnant soul and restore the true soul, its power would reach an unimaginable level. Although I didn't find out his goal, I can't let Demon God Desolate see off so easily. Wang Feng shook his head. Then he looked at the frozen human souls in the sky and sighed. These human souls all had excellent aptitudes. Meng Yuanqing and the others had secretly captured them and offered them to the desolate sea demon god. However, The desolate sea demon god hadn't had time to digest them. It might have been controlled by demon god Huanghai using a special secret technique. Of course, it could also be left behind as a backup. But it didn't matter now. Their consciousness is still there. They can still be awakened. Wang Feng pondered for a while. The means of the fiend celestials were nothing to him. No matter what secret technique they used to control them, Wang Feng could undo it, not to mention that the demonic consciousness had been destroyed. However, these human souls might not be able to live for long. As puppets, their souls had become very weak. Otherwise, the desolate sea demon god wouldn't have used them as a shield. Go! Wang Feng threw the Pangu axe in his hand and directly rushed in that direction, devouring the soul energy of the desolate sea demon god. Then he used the Ming sound of the 8 chaotic sounds and combined it with the primordial origin to undo the state of the human souls. Among these human souls, Wang Feng found Mu Rou and Shang Jun, who had just been absorbed by the desolate sea demon god and hadn't had time to devour them. The two of them were obviously in a much better state. At the same time, Meng Yuanqing and many other immortal cultivators flew out from the palace in the distance. They had seen the scene earlier, but they didn't dare to come out, especially when they heard the conversation between Wang Feng and the desolate sea demon god. They knew they were in big trouble. After listening for a while, they knew what kind of concept it was for a human to be able to go against the desolate sea demon god. Now, however, they had to face an even more troublesome and terrifying scene. Not long after the countless human souls woke up, their gazes immediately fell on Meng Yuanqing and the other immortal cultivators. Their eyes were filled with monstrous hatred. Wang Feng looked at this scene indifferently and didn't say anything. The souls that had been tricked by Meng Yuanqing and the other immortal cultivators probably didn't know what they were going to face before they were devoured by the desolate sea demon god. The remaining souls were lucky enough to be awakened by Wang Feng, but their memories were probably still stuck at the time when they were devoured by the desolate sea demon god. It was unknown how deep their hatred for the immortal cultivators on Cloud Gathering Island was. Master, what should we do? Inside the palace, Yunmu looked at this scene with a pale face. Every soul's face was filled with malevolence. Meng Yuanqing closed his eyes and shook his head. They are just suffering the consequences of their own actions. He let out a long sigh and looked toward the horizon. In the end, this is the cycle of the heavenly Tao. It's hard to escape karma. Perhaps all of this was predestined. We can take action. After all, they are just human souls. No matter how many there are, they're just small fries. The man on Meng Yuanqing's left said in a low voice, as long as that person doesn't take action, it's useless. Meng Yuanqing shook his head. No matter what difficulties we have, it happened. If we want to blame someone, we can only blame that desolate sea demon god for choosing us. Moreover, we have absorbed a lot of the soul energy. Although we can comfort ourselves in our hearts by saying that it was to stabilize our strength and protect more human souls. But we know in our hearts that it's just an excuse. Hearing this, the others immediately fell silent. In the next moment, the countless human souls surged toward them like malicious ghosts. Seeing this, Wang Feng didn't stop them. He just watched quietly. After a while, he landed beside Mu Rou. Are you all okay? Wang Feng asked. Mu Rou didn't rush toward the human souls. Instead, she rushed toward Fairy Meng. Fairy Meng just stood there quietly with her eyes closed. It seemed like she didn't want to say anything. I'm fine, Mu Rou said in a daze. She probably still hadn't come back to her senses. She had seen the situation just now. It was just that she couldn't accept it at the moment. Shang Jun looked at Wang Feng and then knelt down. She said in a clear voice, Senior, can you take us as your disciples? We don't ask for much. As long as our souls can be strengthened, we don't ask to enter the reincarnation well to be reincarnated, but we don't want to be wantonly devoured by those soul demons. Wang Feng glanced at this guy again. Sure. On the other hand, Mu Rou slowly walked towards Fairy Meng and shouted loudly. Why did you do this? Did you take in all my compatriots on the island? Fairy Meng didn't open her eyes. It seemed like she didn't want to answer her at all. She looked like a walking corpse, waiting for death. End of chapter. Chapter 16:21. Wang Feng did not interrupt. From a long time ago, he felt that there was a problem, but it was not of much use. Because he felt that there was a big problem, he did not want to alert the enemy. Although Wang Feng's soul was weak now, his intelligence was still there. When he first saw Fairy Ming, he could feel that there was a big problem. Muro was just an ordinary human soul. The human souls on the island were the same. Naturally, they could not sense anything. Not to mention, their minds were already immersed in the deeds of these cultivators. Even if they sensed the problem, it would be difficult to make the right judgment. Get up. Wang Feng glanced at Shang Jun. He only felt that this human soul was ordinary. Compared to other human souls, her soul was just a little more solid. But this feeling in his eyes was almost nothing. It was just that those immortal cultivators had chosen the tallest among the shorter ones. There was no other choice on the entire island, so they had chosen her and Muro. In comparison, Muro was more unique. Muro could escape from the soul-cleansing ocean. The most amazing thing. And she could meet him. This was the most amazing thing. Shang Jun immediately stood up and did not speak. Why are you not speaking? Muro stretched out her hands and made the gesture of a ghost pouncing on its prey. It seemed that she wanted to pounce on Fairy Ming like the other human souls did to Meng Yuanqing. Fairy Ming opened her eyes and looked at her indifferently. She then looked at the mountain peak in the distance. She closed her eyes again. In an instant, Wang Feng saw Muro's body trembling. Her soul energy was surging. Wang Feng shook his head. Cultivator's willpower and Dao heart were incomparably strong. This mysterious heaven sect was the top immortal sect in the cloud-coming field. They inherited the orthodoxy of the immortals. Even if they were destroyed by the dark demon field, their soul's willpower did not dissipate. In their hearts, surviving and inheriting the orthodoxy was more important than anything else. So, they would never admit that they were wrong. Not to mention admitting that they were wrong to a mortal. Even if they explained anything to Muro, it was not likely. Wang Feng put his hands behind his back and looked at the sky. Cultivators represented a completely different immortal cultivation system. It was a great Dao that could also reach the top of the universe. It was also the existence that Wang Feng had desired in his previous life. But now, in his eyes, it was a strong power. Their willpower and Dao heart were very strong. It could be seen from Fairy Ming in front of him. He would not easily change because of anything. Even if his physical body was destroyed, the cloud-coming realm was destroyed, and only his soul remained. He had always been consistent. As for justice and evil, these two simple concepts were not what they were pursuing. In fact, in the structure of life in the universe, there was no such thing as a simple concept of justice and evil. To me, these immortal cultivators are not wrong. They capture the souls of ordinary humans and refine them to pay the demonic god of the desolate ocean to ensure their safety. Instead, it was their fault for provoking him. Wang Feng turned around and looked at Muro. He didn't pay any attention to her. He only looked at her from a bystander's point of view. He was thinking that if he were to look at this from the perspective of a universe-level life form, it would be like watching a child playing house. He wouldn't even give it a second glance. He wouldn't even bother with them. This could be seen from the fact that Mo Tians could attack him in the Dark Devil world without any hesitation with the suppression of a great world, causing the Dark Devil world to tremble and shatter the 9 regions. Countless soul demons died in the battle. For life forms below the universe level, death was just a word for them. Wang Feng shook his head. It wasn't that universe-level life forms didn't have emotions. It was just that the emotions of universe-level life forms were diluted, especially for lower life forms. They were almost transparent. Muro took 2 steps back. Fairy Ming's disregard and indifference were unimaginable. From her perspective, she could only look at it from the perspective of an ordinary human. It was difficult for her to understand immortal cultivators like Fairy Ming. At this moment, Fairy Ming suddenly opened her eyes. She looked at Wang Feng and said calmly, I'll give you the complete 7 emotions immortal soul record. I don't ask you to let us go. I just want you to pass it on. Wang Feng was startled and asked, Why should I do that? Because you should need it, Fairy Meng answered. How do you know I need it? You asked me before. With your strength, I think there is only one possibility for you to ask about this item. You must be interested in it, she replied. Wang Feng chuckled. Fairy Meng was quite an intelligent person. He was quite interested in the inheritance left by an immortal, but he didn't need it. If there was a better way to speed up the cultivation of the primordial origin, it didn't matter if there wasn't. Wang Feng didn't answer. Fairy Meng pointed her finger, and a ray of golden light turned into a soul jade slip and flew into Wang Feng's hand. Then, she flew to the top of the mountain like a moth to a flame. Immortal cultivators. Interesting. Wang Feng crushed the soul jade slip in his hand. It was obviously made of soul energy. It was a copy of the immortal's inheritance. It was a copy of the 7 Emotions immortal soul record. Of course, it wasn't the original, but it was still okay. He just didn't expect them to do this. Speaking of which, from the beginning to the end, when he saw through them, none of these immortal cultivators begged for mercy. It was as if they already knew the outcome. Let's go. Wang Feng looked at Mu Rou and Shang Jun. He had gained a lot from this trip. Compared to pure cultivation, the gains were much greater. Demon god Huang Hai's demonic thought alone provided a large part of the primordial origin's soul energy. This meant that the recovery of the Pangu Axe martial soul would be faster. A conservative estimate would be at least 4 to 5%. That was just a demonic thought. If a few more were to devour the demon god Huang Hai, it wouldn't be a problem to reach 30%. It would be much faster than killing those soul demons. The soul energy of the demon god's soul was incomparable to that of the soul demons. Mu Rou was pulled back by Shang Jun. She came back to her senses. After her anger disappeared, she realized what had happened. Looking at Wang Feng, her eyes changed from anger and sorrow to fear. There was an obvious change. She was silent for a while, forcing herself to calm down. Can I go back to the island first? I want to go back and sing the requiem. Mu Rou regained some of her calmness and said to Wang Feng reluctantly. However, she didn't dare to look at Wang Feng. Go if you want. Wang Feng waved his hand. I'll send you on your way. Don't be afraid of me. I'm also a human soul. It's just that it's a little different from yours. The Requiem song was the song Wang Feng had heard when he first arrived at Mu Rou's island. It should be that when the human souls couldn't hold on and gradually faded away, their compatriots would sing this song to comfort the souls that had passed away forever. After saying that, Wang Feng thought for a while. With a wave of his hand, he condensed a flying sword with his soul energy. This flying sword was more condensed and majestic than the one Fairy Meng used. It also carried a sharp aura. In a chapter. Chapter 16:22. Let's go. Wang Feng stepped onto the flying sword and stood in front, looking into the distance. Mu Rou and Shang Jun turned their heads and looked back. They could only see countless human souls rushing towards the palace on the island. What about them? Mu Rou asked. Them? They were controlled by the Fiend Celestial. Although I've recovered a little, my soul energy is broken and will disappear soon. Now that they are awake, they should have understood the situation. So, they're taking revenge. Wang Feng replied casually, If you want to, you can go too. Shang Jun stepped onto the flying sword and suddenly asked, Why don't those cultivators fight back? Mu Rou was stunned. After looking for a while, she realized that was indeed the case. Wang Feng did not answer this question. The flying sword turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. They have already fought back. The flying sword was very fast. To Wang Feng, the methods of immortal cultivators were nothing more than child's play. The 7 Emotions immortal soul record was a real immortal's legacy. It was an immortal manual that specialized in cultivating the soul. There was no doubt about that. The 7 Emotions immortal soul record's main purpose was to cultivate the 7 emotions of a human and integrate them into the soul. Finally, from cultivation to control, one would become an immortal. One soul would transcend the mortal world and step into the immortal path that was hard to find. Because it was a complete cultivation technique, it was very complete from the beginning to the cultivation of the soul, to the nascent soul and ascension. Also, because it was an immortal's legacy, it had a real immortal manual. In other words, it was a few cultivation techniques after becoming an immortal. To the immortal cultivation sex, it could be said to be a supreme treasure. To Wang Feng, it was a grade better than the previous riddle. But that was it. Wang Feng did not know how to cultivate. After reading it, he directly recorded it into the primordial source and used it as the source's resource bank. As a side effect, he could even complete the cultivation techniques after becoming an immortal. Obviously, the creator of the 7 Emotions Immortal Soul record had not completed it yet. This was because Immortal Yunlai, who created the 7 Emotions Immortal Soul record, had only just reached that realm when he passed down this cultivation technique. Wang Feng could even make some adjustments to the cultivation techniques before that. This cultivation technique is not bad. After absorbing the primordial source, it should be able to speed up the derivation of the soul cultivation technique. As for the inheritance, when the time comes, I could just find a human soul with good potential and impart it. Wang Fengxin thought that demonic god Desolate Sea must still be hiding in other places. However, this place had already been destroyed by him. The demonic wills in the other places would most likely leave this place. Wang Feng was not in a hurry. As long as he was still in the soul world, he could not run away. Along the way, Mu Rou and Shang Jun also asked about the situation, and Wang Feng told them the actual situation of Cloud Gathering Island. There was no need to hide such things. However, the two of them were extremely shocked and puzzled by the demon god's appearance in the human soul region outside of the Styx waterfall. As for the actions of the immortal cultivators of Cloud Gathering Island, they were rather silent. Not long after, the small island in the distance was already within reach. Wang Feng closed his eyes and pondered. He could only hear Mu Rou mumbling one name after another. Shang Jun, on the other hand, remained silent, and there was a hint of sorrow in her eyes. Noticing something, Wang Feng slowly opened his eyes. Senior A.O. Tian, what happened? Mu Rou hurriedly asked. Her soft voice startled the two of them. Nothing. Wang Feng looked at the two of them thoughtfully. The flying sword landed in the center of the island. Suddenly, Mu Rou's eyes widened. The flying sword landed in the center of the village. Soon, a clear and tender voice rang out. I'm sorry. Big brother, why are you back so soon? And big sister Mu Rou. A little girl floated in front of Wang Feng and blinked her eyes as she looked at him. The other human souls also floated out of the wooden houses in the village and looked at the three of them strangely. The old man who handed over the carefree soul pearl to Mu Rou stood up and looked at Mu Rou. Xiaorou, what's going on? Mu Rou was still in a daze. She did not seem to have regained her senses. Shang Jun was also in a daze. Wang Feng, on the other hand, looked into the distance. Mu Rou stuttered. Are you all right? Although she stuttered, there was a hint of disbelief, shock, confusion in her voice. Us. The old man looked around and said subconsciously, Of course we're fine. Xiaorou, why are you asking this question? Aya, Grandpa's soul is muddle-headed. The little girl giggled. Xiaorou left with Fairy Meng. Fairy Meng must have told Big Sister Xiaorou. That's why Big Sister Xiaorou asked this, right? The village chief slapped his forehead and said with a smile, You're right. I'm muddle-headed. We're fine, don't worry. Xiaorou, you're really too much. The carefree soul pearl is so precious. How about you just give it to us? A few hours ago, not long after you left, 2 Saint Spell Masters from the southern island came to our island. They wanted us to hand over the 2 carefree soul pearls. They said you stole them from them. If we didn't hand them over, they would refine us into dead souls. The village chief sighed and said, Although we have never seen these soul pearls before, we know that you risked your life to get them from the soul-cleansing ocean. But what could we do? They were Saint Spell Masters, so we could only hand them over. Just at this time, Fairy Meng came back and beat the 2 Saint Spell Masters back. I thought about it. Since you went to Cloud Gathering Island, it wasn't easy for the 2 of you to be chosen from our small island. I can't let the 2 of you suffer on the island. Furthermore, Fairy Meng saved us. So I gave the carefree soul pearl to her on behalf of our island. I also told her not to mention this matter so that you wouldn't worry. Fairy Ming is really too much. She still told you about this matter. You made a wasted trip and worried about us. After the village chief finished speaking, he looked at Mu Ro happily. Xiaoro, we're fine. You should hurry back to Cloud Gathering Island. All right, why don't I see Fairy Ming? Where is she? Could it be that you've learned the immortal spells of Cloud Gathering Island so quickly? Mu Ro took a few steps back. She was silent, and her eyes were filled with confusion. Shang Jun, who was beside her, was slightly better. Saint Spell Masters. When Wang Feng came, Mu Ro said that the souls of humans came from many different worlds. Those cultivators were just one of them. However, he didn't expect that something like this would happen on this small island. Interestingly, Fairy Ming did find an excuse to leave on the way to Cloud Gathering Island. Wang Feng also noticed it and guessed that it must be because of the carefree soul pearl. However, he didn't expect it to be like this. Looking at Mu Ro and Shang Jun's expressions, it was obvious that after experiencing the incident on Cloud Gathering Island, they were even more confused. She's fine. Since the island is safe, then let's go back first. After a long time, Mu Ro came back to her senses and said in a low voice, "All right, you guys be careful. When you go back, you must listen to Fairy Ming obediently and learn well. When the time comes, you can kill those soul demons and enter the reincarnation, to reincarnate." The village chief encouraged. The others also encouraged them. "Yes, Sister Xiaoro, on our island, even if only you and Sister June can enter the reincarnation, to reincarnate, it will still be great." The little girl blinked her big, innocent eyes. "After so many years, only you guys were chosen by Cloud Gathering Island. It was Fairy Ming who took you in." Mu Ro and Shang Jun didn't know what to say. They seemed to be choking on something and could only nod. Then, they turned around and left on their flying swords with Wang Feng. On the flying swords, Mu Ro and Shang Jun thought for a moment. Then, they looked at each other and nodded. Together, they sang the ancient and heavy song that Wang Feng heard when he first came to the small island. Chapter 16:23. The sky was clear, and white clouds rose along with the waterfall of the Styx River. The pearl-like islands were in Wang Feng's line of sight. He could see fluorescent human souls floating on the islands. Occasionally, the fierce shadows of demonic souls would sweep past. Relatively speaking, it was relatively calm. There was a strong wind in the air, but Wang Feng, who was in soul form, couldn't feel any wind. The lingering sound of the requiem gradually dissipated in Mu Ro and Shang Jun. The quiet atmosphere surrounded the three of them again. Wang Feng closed his eyes and pondered. On the southern islands, the human souls here looked very different from Mu Ro and Shang Jun. There were obvious differences in skin color, hair, and facial features. Obviously, they were humans from another world. Now that the demon god of Huang Hai had been alarmed, Wang Feng didn't have to worry about it. He directly brought the two of them and flew across the southern islands. The demonic consciousness of the demon god of Huang Hai was scattered in different places in the human territory, absorbing human souls. The demonic consciousness of Cloud Gathering Island was killed by his axe. The other demonic consciousnesses would definitely leave their original positions. They would flee elsewhere or join forces. They wouldn't sit still and wait for death. The scattered demonic consciousnesses were nourishment for Wang Feng's Pangu axe martial soul. The southern islands are protected by the holy spellcasters. They are the same as immortal cultivators. They have the power to fight against demonic souls. Mu Ro broke the silence and said, "The humans here are not from Blue Planet. I heard that they are from a continent called Divine Grace. Over there, they worshipped many powerful gods. Their powers are also passed down from the gods." Gods? Wang Feng thought. This wasn't the kind of game the gods in the god realm like to play. This divine grace should be a plane controlled by the Douluo god realm. Before the war of the gods between the dark demon realm and the god realm, the dark demon realm had invaded many lower planes of the god realm. The Douluo continent was a good example. However, the level of the Douluo continent had been raised a lot at that time. The group of tidal Douluo was far stronger than the group from 10,000 years ago. Those soul demons did not have much of an advantage, and he was also there. Therefore, the Douluo continent wasn't invaded by the dark demon realm. When I entered the soul-cleansing ocean, I wasn't alone. I was accompanied by hundreds and thousands of brave souls, including the warriors on their side. Mu Ro recalled. But before me, I was the only one who came out alive. It was possible that some of their warriors had also escaped from the soul-cleansing ocean. Otherwise, they wouldn't know that I obtained the carefree soul pearl. Wang Feng nodded slightly and tapped the space between their eyebrows. He implanted the 7 emotions immortal soul record into the depths of their souls. This technique is the Dao legacy of Cloud Gathering Island, the 7 emotions immortal soul record. This technique was extremely special. If one cultivated it to the Mahayana stage, they would be able to retain this technique even if they were reincarnated. That is to say, after you reincarnate, you can also cultivate this method and inherit the orthodoxy. If you don't understand, this immortal record already has my detailed notes. There's no need to ask me. After saying that, Wang Feng looked straight ahead. Mu Ro and Shang Jun had different expressions on their faces. Mu Ro was silent and resistant. Shang Jun, on the other hand, was calm with some joy. All right, the two of them replied in unison. After saying that, they planned to start cultivating. The spiritual energy in this place is thin and the efficiency of cultivation is extremely low. There's no need to cultivate so quickly. Comprehend this immortal record more. This technique focuses on comprehension. Wang Feng stopped the two of them. Moreover, we should be meeting them soon. Them? Who? Mu Ro and Shang Jun were puzzled. Saint spellcasters. Wang Feng pointed ahead. The two of them looked over and saw that in the distant sky, there were indeed small dots of light flying over from afar. Their hearts tightened, but they thought of something and heaved a sigh of relief. After a while, a majestic island slowly appeared in front of them. As the distance increased, the dots of light in front of them slowly turned into rows of human souls. Countless human souls flew out from below from all directions. At the same time, 6 rays of light lit up from 6 positions with the majestic island as the center. It was like a large array. It enveloped the entire area. Wang Feng glanced at it and was instantly astonished. With his experience, he could tell at a glance that this was a trap array that had been set up beforehand. The 6 corners of the formation contained a tremendous amount of soul energy. It should be a treasure similar to the carefree soul bead that was used as the energy output. The interior of the array was isolated from the outside, and the light screen that rose up could prevent any soul from entering or leaving. Since it had been set up beforehand, it meant that these saint spellcasters knew who they would be facing. It should be the cultivators of Cloud Gather Island. From the row of saint spellcasters in front, an old man who looked the oldest slowly walked out. He looked the oldest, but his soul was extremely solid, not much different from Meng Yuanqing's. My name is Fane. The 3 of you have come to the territory of us, saint spellcasters. Is there something you need? The old man held a soul staff in his hand. There was a carefree soul pearl embedded in the staff. It was slightly larger than the one Mu Ro had obtained. Wang Feng glanced around and said bluntly, "Where is the demonic will of the demonic god?" Fane's expression changed. Not only him, but the other saint spellcasters' expressions also changed. If you fled, where did you flee to? What have you done all these years? Tell me one by one, and I won't make things difficult for you, Wang Feng said. After saying this, he pointed at the distant location of Cloud Gather Island. Cloud Gather Island is already gone. This last sentence sounded like a threat, and it caused Fane's eyelids to twitch. Nonsense. We don't know anything. Fane fiercely stamped the staff in his hand, and a powerful wave of spiritual energy surged out in all directions. On the flying sword, Mu Ro and Shang Jun were sent flying by this storm of energy. Only when the flying sword exerted a suction force did they manage to stabilize themselves. Without another word, Wang Feng put his middle finger and index finger together and pointed at the sky. In an instant, A beam of spiritual light shot out from the tips of his 2 fingers toward the array in the sky. Kacha! Cracks crawled all over the surrounding light screen, and it suddenly shattered. Don't make me say it a second time. Wang Feng put his 2 fingers together and pointed at Fane. He was using a high-grade spiritual technique from the 7 Emotions Immortal Soul Record, Soul-Suppressing Finger. The effect was barely passable. After saying this, Wang Feng seemed to have thought of something, and he suddenly said, I forgot that you humans believed in gods when you were alive. Unfortunately, the Dark Demon world destroyed everything, and it also destroyed your beliefs. So, could it be that you changed your belief to the demonic god after becoming souls? Fane took 2 steps back. Ew. He pointed at Wang Feng and stuttered, unable to say anything. Then his voice suddenly became louder, and he said angrily, What does it have to do with you? Who exactly are you? After saying this, he was aggressive, and he didn't look like he was going to back down. The other Saint spellcasters also stood neatly in midair, and they didn't retreat at all. Chapter 16:24. What did that demon god say to you? Wang Feng asked. Did he leave already? He didn't just leave. Let me guess. Wang Feng pondered. Could it be that he told you to stop me and promised that if you could stop me, he would make you his true followers? That he would bestow you with greater power? How childish. Wang Feng shook his head. Don't you know your strength? What's the difference between you and the demon god? Do you think he would like you? Even the immortal cultivators of Cloud Gather Island can only be reduced to his tools. What do you count for? After saying that, Wang Feng chopped down with his axe without hesitation. The axe light pierced through the clouds. Not only did it scatter the formation of the saints, it also split the island below into 2. It was like opening a Pandora's box. After the majestic island was split open, an enormous amount of soul energy surged out from within. It looked much larger than Cloud Gathering Island. This is probably the soul energy of over 1 million people refined and stored inside. Wang Feng looked at these Saint Spell Masters with admiration. They were even more ruthless than those cultivators. They had collected so many human souls. Behind him, Mu Rou and Shang Jun still didn't understand where the enormous amount of soul energy came from. They were confused. Are you sure you still want to stop me? Wang Feng smiled. So stupid. No, I can't blame you for being stupid. You've already turned into souls and thirsted for power. Entering the reincarnation well is your last hope. As long as the demon god Huang Hai takes advantage of this, he can toy with you however he wants. Fane looked at the island below with a pale face. He knelt on the ground with a dispirited expression. He was the most prestigious and powerful saint among these saints. He was loved and respected by countless people on the continent. It was the same in his previous life. Just like those cultivators on Cloud Gathering Island, the demon god Huang Hai had chosen him and made him and the other saints collect human souls and offer them as sacrifices to the demon god Huang Hai. Otherwise, he would kill their entire clan. It was a one-sided threat. He wouldn't give them any power. However, the prerequisite was that he could bring them into the reincarnation well to be reincarnated. This was the only thing that didn't make them feel completely hopeless. Instead, they carried hope and believed that this was for the good of their people. So they made the same choice as Cloud Gathering Island. The demonic god Huang Hai is simply a freeloader. Apart from giving them some empty promises, he didn't even bestow any power to these human souls. He's just toying with them. However, he has no other choice. Wang Fengxin pondered in his heart. Such a person must be killed. He did not believe that this bullshit god fiend would really lead human souls into the reincarnation C for reincarnation. He just wanted to give Fane, Meng Yuanqing, and the other experts a sliver of hope that they wouldn't go berserk and resist. He had a firm grasp of the situation. After a long while, Fane slowly took out a box and said in a low voice, "That demon god has left. He left long ago. However, he told us that as long as we stopped the human souls that came here to find him, he would bestow us with power and take us out of this place to enter the reincarnation well to be reincarnated. It's just as you said. What about this box? Wang Feng asked. There's a restriction set up by the demonic god below our island. Fane pointed down and said that demonic god imprisoned hundreds of thousands of demonic souls in the restriction. The key to the restriction is this box. Once we leave this box, the restriction will automatically open. Tens of thousands of demonic souls are enough to destroy this place. He told us to open this box when necessary. It's used to stop the human souls that came to find him. So what do you plan to do? Wang Feng watched with interest. Fane trembled all over. He couldn't make a choice. I made my choice. Wang Feng clenched his fist. His eyes flickered with the divine light of primordial origin. He began to read and deduce everything before him. Then, Wang Feng looked down and narrowed his eyes slightly. This demonic god Huang Hai was very scheming. How could there only be tens of thousands of demonic souls? There were probably hundreds of thousands of soul demons. Even if Wang Feng used Pango Axe, he wouldn't be able to kill them all in a short time. After all, Pango Axe hadn't been fully repaired yet. His soul was also weak enough. He didn't have the ability to deal with large groups of soul demons. No matter how powerful the axe was, even if it killed tens of thousands of soul demons, the demonic souls would instantly flee. At that time, the entire human territory would be in danger. Furthermore, it was unlikely that he could kill so many soul demons with a single axe. Although Pango Axe was powerful, it consumed a lot of energy and its range was limited. If it was just a single soul demon, even if it was a demonic god's demonic will, he could kill it with a single axe. But if there were too many of them, it would be troublesome. Once these demonic souls flew out, they would definitely flee and slaughter the surrounding humans. The demonic god Huang Hai was prepared. He must have come to the world of human souls outside the Nether River waterfall for something extremely important. He definitely wouldn't come alone. I can't open the restriction below for now, Wang Feng muttered. Even if he used all his strength, he could kill 99% of them in a short time. If he missed a few hundred, even a few dozen, it would be extremely dangerous for the entire human territory, because the demonic souls here were very powerful. Therefore, once he learned of this situation, he absolutely couldn't open the restriction. The best choice was to wait until the demonic souls were stronger before dealing with them. There are more than 10,000 demonic souls below, said Wang Feng. There are at least a few 100,000 demonic souls. Once they are released, he won't be able to bring you to the well of reincarnation. You will die here. A few 100,000 demonic souls? Fane was stunned. How can there be so many? Yes, how can there be so many? Wang Feng returned the box to him and continued. Where did the demonic god go? West, said Fane. West. Wang Feng glanced over. Interesting. The demonic god Huang Hai didn't escape towards the soul-cleansing sea on the other side of the Nether River. Instead, he went in the opposite direction, continuing to escape into the human territory. This didn't make sense. There must be something fishy going on. He had to chase after him and take a look. Wang Feng looked at Fane. He wasn't lying. If he was lying, he could tell a glance. No, more accurately, he was only saying what he saw. With this in mind, Wang Feng quickly headed west. As for the massive amount of soul energy that seeped out from the island, Wang Feng wasn't in the mood to absorb it. After all, this was soul energy refined from human souls. He didn't know what he had absorbed on Cloud Gathering Island. As for this, he couldn't be bothered to absorb it. It was a waste of time. But, however, not long after flying out, Wang Feng paused slightly. He used the primordial origins to deduce what he had seen and heard. Suddenly, a possibility surfaced in his mind. I see. Not long after Wang Feng left, Fane was somewhat dispirited and looked into the distance in a daze. However, he didn't feel much joy at surviving a calamity. Down there, it's a ticking time bomb after all. Fane held the box tightly, afraid of making a mistake. After a while, the box suddenly trembled. A demonic figure suddenly flew out from within and rose in spirals. You didn't leave? Fane looked at the demonic figure and was instantly stunned. The other sacred Dharma casters were also pale. Idiot! The demonic god Huang Hai's expression was indifferent. He couldn't be bothered to say another word to the latter. If he left like this, that fellow would catch up to him sooner or later. That fellow's axe could cut through the spatial restraints of the soul world and kill the demonic consciousness. There was no way he could escape. It was ridiculous. He could only use a trick to force the other party away. No matter how smart that fellow was, he wouldn't have thought that he hadn't left at all. However, at this moment, a soul voice slowly sounded. Chapter 16:25. Huang Hai. The soul's voice came from afar. The demon god Huang Hai's figure froze, and he looked into the distance. He saw that the human soul was looking at him with a smile from afar. He didn't leave? The demon god Huang Hai was shocked. Did he pretend to leave? Nice trick. Wang Feng suddenly appeared above the island, as if he had teleported. You're still trying to trick me. You know I won't open the seal below, so you're sure I'll leave. Wang Feng looked at the demon god Huang Hai with a smile. He was sure that there was something wrong with the demon god Huang Hai's strange actions. The demon god's seal below was real, at least in Wang Feng's eyes. The demon god Huang Hai told Feng to expose this and then diverted his attention. Then, the demon god Huang Hai fled in the opposite direction so that Wang Feng would be suspicious. Wang Feng wouldn't stay here for long and would immediately chase after the demon god Huang Hai. It had to be said that Wang Feng did think so. He didn't find any obvious loopholes, but some parts didn't make sense. However, Wang Feng didn't expect that the demon god Huang Hai didn't leave at all. Then, he used the primordial origins to deduce this and found this possibility. Wang Feng returned. He didn't expect to see the demon god Huang Hai's demon will. This demon will was slightly weaker than the one on Cloud Gathering Island, but it wasn't much different. Tell me, how do you want to die? Wang Feng's axe appeared in his hand, and he gently slapped his palm. The demon god Huang Hai's expression was ferocious, and he looked at Wang Feng unwillingly. Impossible. How on earth did he find out? Could it be that he had long seen through it, and everything just now was just an act? The demon god Huang Hai looked at the human coldly. He was already difficult to deal with in the dark demon world. He didn't expect him to be so difficult after death. Actually, I'm very curious. Wang Feng suddenly changed his tone and said, after I killed your demon while on Cloud Gathering Island, the demon should have fled. Logically speaking, your other demon should have fled immediately. However, you're playing this game of darkness under the light. It's completely meaningless. If your demon had fled, I might not have been able to catch up to you. But you took such a risk? Don't tell me it's just to play tricks? Wang Feng looked around, his gaze landing on Feng. Can it be that you have a reason why you must stay behind? Also, did you set up the Fiend Celestial Restriction Array in advance? On this trip, what puzzled Wang Feng the most was the demonic god restriction below. Hundreds of thousands of demonic souls were sealed beneath the island by demon god Desolate Sea. If Wang Feng had not used the Pangu axe to split open the island, he might not have been able to see it. The devilish souls in the Nether River wouldn't come to areas outside of the Nether River. This had to have been set up by Desolate Sea's Fiend Celestial. What was demon god Huang Hai trying to do? With so many doubts, Wang Feng was in no hurry to make a move. He vaguely felt as if he had fallen into a spider web. Take a guess. Demon god Huang Hai let out a strange laugh. Since you've seen through me, I can't be bothered to escape. That axe of yours is very special. Even with your weak soul, you were able to kill my devil will. This means that the weapon itself contains great power. Furthermore, once the target is locked on, the soul won't be able to escape. No matter how far it is, the target will be able to hit it. Truly impressive. Demon god Huang Hai let out a final sigh that sounded like a sarcastic remark. Demonic souls in soul form naturally couldn't be compared to the tenebrous fiend world in the real world, where they could use tenebrous fiend powers. From demon god Huang Hai's words, it seemed as though he had no intention of resisting. Instead, it was this that left Wang Fengxin even more puzzled. Wang Feng frowned slightly as he looked at the Fiend Celestial Restriction Array beneath the island. Countless demonic souls were surging in the sea, letting out silent roars as though they were devils that had been suppressed in the sea. It didn't seem like it was fake. You don't plan on taking action? Demon God Huanghai said slowly. I didn't even threaten you with opening the Fiend Celestial restriction. Why? Are you cowering now? That's because you are just a devil will. You can't open it. Wang Feng pointed at Demon God Huanghai. If I didn't come with my true body, do you really think I would believe that a mere box can be opened? The Fiend Celestial restriction array was definitely another trap. Wang Feng didn't believe that a Fiend Celestial would only predict that he would choose to leave. He didn't predict that Wang Feng would open the Fiend Celestial restriction array. Demon God Huanghai must have predicted this as well. Then, there must be a trap in the Fiend Celestial restriction array. If he had used the Pangu axe to hack it open, who knew what kind of trap he would have encountered? Thinking of this, Wang Feng suddenly had an idea as though he had thought of something. At this moment, Demon God Huanghai spoke again. If that's the case, why don't you take action? Are you still afraid of something? Wang Feng suddenly laughed. I'm not afraid. You're the one who is afraid. Wang Feng put away the Pangu axe and stared at the devil will. He suddenly laughed. What a great trick. What do you mean? Demon God Huanghai looked at Wang Feng. Wang Feng sneered at the bottom. Huanghai, you didn't set up the Fiend Celestial restriction array below, right? Although you have the ability to do so, I really can't figure out why you spent so much effort to seal hundreds of thousands of soul demons here. Until I discovered a problem. These demonic souls, they were all your former subordinates, right? They were the elite soul demons who died in the Black Tide. With your character, why would you do such a stupid thing? Ha ha, I understand now. Wang Feng laughed. Demon God Huanghai looked at Wang Feng coldly. Huanghai, if I'm not wrong, the one who sealed these soul demons is not you. But Wang Feng paused and slowly uttered a few words. Yama Lord. Hearing these two words, Demon God Huanghai's expression changed immediately, no matter how fast he recovered. Even if he recovered quickly, the truth had been exposed. Even you, Wang Feng pointed at Huanghai's devil will and sneered. Yama Lord sealed you in this place. You didn't come here by yourself. Those cultivators on Cloud Gathering Island and these Saint Dharma casters were all deceived by you. Yama Lord sealed you in this place long before the humans were driven out of the Nether River waterfall. He even divided your devil will into several pieces and sealed them in different places. While I was on Cloud Gathering Island, I didn't think too much about it and split the cauldron open with my axe. I released you in advance. You must be ecstatic at that time, but you chose to run away at the first moment. That's what puzzles me the most. At this point, Wang Fengxin's mind was clear. After what happened on Cloud Gathering Island, he had fallen into a strange circle of thinking. He subconsciously thought that Meng Yuanxing and the others were telling the truth because they were not lying. But the truth was, Meng Yuanxing and the others had no idea that Huanghai had been sealed here for a long time. With the demon god's experience and cunning, even if he was sealed, he must have some means to escape. The difference in strength between Meng Yuanxing and the other cultivators was too great. They did not know enough and could not see through it. Moreover, Wang Feng was sure that the sealed demon god Huanghai did not have any means to destroy so many human souls. He could only use some small tricks that the cultivators and Saint Dharmacasters had never seen before to intimidate them. Chapter 16:26. If I'm not mistaken, Wang Feng pointed at the demon god restriction below. Once I attack your demon will, the restriction below will loosen, and hundreds of thousands of demon souls will fly out. I'll be too tired to deal with them, and the souls of all humans in this region will be in great danger. Large numbers of people will die, and the other powerful beings under your control will quickly collect these dead souls and refine them into pure soul energy. There's only one reason why you need these souls, and that's to activate that demon chi. You can't break Yamasil by yourself, but that demon chi can break Yamasil and fuse your other demon wills into a true soul. Although two of them are missing, it's enough for you to leave this place. The demon god of desolation's expression was extremely ugly. He couldn't hold it in anymore. He didn't expect this guy to figure everything out so quickly. Yama told you? The demon god of desolation's voice was like a volcano about to erupt, brewing endless violence. What do you think? Wang Feng said indifferently. He was shocked. If he wasn't wrong, this was most likely the case. The demon god of desolation stole the demon chi and shed his demon body. He wanted to reincarnate in the form of a demon soul and escape this disaster. However, Yama was already here. With Yama's wisdom as a peerless soul demon in Dark Demon Realm, he should have figured out the demon god of desolation's little scheme. He could even deduce what happened above ground. And Wang Feng was sure that the demon god of desolation came to this world to look for the well of reincarnation after the black tide. This guy was sealed by Yama outside the Styx waterfall. The soul energy here was extremely weak, and his demon soul was divided into so many parts that there was no chance for him to recover. It was simply torture, but he didn't expect the human soul to be driven here, which gave the demon god of desolation an opportunity. Ha! A peerless soul demon in Dark Demon Realm actually colluded with a human. How lamentable. The demon god of desolation laughed wildly. Human, if I'm not wrong, you should be a god from the god realm, right? You disguised yourself as demon god and came to Dark Demon Realm to find the path ahead. The strongest in the god realm is only a god king. You don't even see a universe-level life form. Why don't we do this instead? However, she couldn't find the devil chi. I'll return the devil chi to you, and I don't want you to break these seals. How about you just pretend that nothing happened? Huang Hai's tone was unprecedentedly serious. Do you know what that fiendish aura is? It contained a wisp of the universe's will. As long as you obtain this wisp of demonic chi, you won't disappear even if you reincarnate. As long as you can comprehend this wisp of universe will, you can become a universe-level life form. I've reached a level I've never reached before. To you, any transcendent being in a great world can be destroyed with a flick of your finger. You're right. I absorb the soul energy of humans because comprehending the will of the universe requires a large amount of soul energy. I can't sacrifice myself to comprehend it. Naturally, I can only absorb the souls of these humans, but the speed is too slow. His voice was seductive. The will of the universe. This was the first time Wang Feng had heard of this term, although he didn't know anything. However, Wang Feng inexplicably recalled the battle with Mo Tiance and the crushing will of the galaxy. It was a power that surpassed the origin. It was as if it represented a supreme will that could destroy everything in the opponent's body in an instant. Strength, faith, life, divine power, origin, etc. That was a kind of supreme power. At least, it was so for a life form at his level. Wang Feng squinted his eyes and looked at Huang Hai. He looked very sincere, like a thief who was caught by law enforcers and wanted to plead guilty so that he wouldn't have to spend a few days in jail. But that's not right, said Wang Feng after some thought. What's not right? First of all, this fiendish aura was originally mine, said Wang Feng with a serious expression. This is called returning it to its rightful owner. What right do you have to negotiate? Then consider it as me keeping it for you for a while, replied Huang Hai. Look, it's just like how I picked up something among you humans and help you keep it safe for a while. When I return it to you, don't you have to express your gratitude? Therefore, you can pretend that you don't know anything about the other fiendish intents of mine. That makes sense, Wang Feng pondered. However, your soul energy is very tempting. That's not right, said Huang Hai anxiously. I help you keep this fiendish aura. Now that I'm giving it to you, you want to deal with me? Are you humans so immoral? Wang Feng smiled and said, How about this? I'll help you remove the other seals. What do you think? Remove the seals? Huang Hai was stunned for a moment. He probably didn't expect Wang Feng to say that. Isn't that good? Asked Wang Feng. Of course it's good. Huang Hai looked at Wang Feng with uncertainty. The next moment, Pangu axe appeared in Wang Feng's hand, and he swung it forward. The peerless axe light carried an aura that could cut through everything as it slashed toward Huang Hai's fiendish figure. Seeing this, Huang Hai smiled. Human, I knew you wouldn't let me go. Although you can kill this fiendish intent of mine, you'll definitely remove the seal below. Although I can't remove the seal, I've fused my fiendish intent with the seal. You've killed this fiendish intent of mine. When the hundreds of thousands of soul demons appear, the souls of all humans in this place will die. You'll only benefit me in the end." Wang Feng didn't say anything else. The axe light carried an indomitable aura as it slashed through Huang Hai's fiendish figure. An enormous amount of soul energy burst out and shrouded the world. At the same time, Huang Hai's fiendish figure disappeared. Countless cracks appeared on the demonic god restriction below and extended to the entire sea. Rumble. The sea began to tremble. The roars of the soul demons, which were originally silent, began to rise. "Benefit you?" Wang Feng smiled slowly. "If it was just a moment ago, I might have been fooled by you. But it's different now." "Retrieve." Wang Feng placed Pangu Axe martial soul in the air. The primordial origin frantically absorbed the soul energy of Huang Hai's fiendish intent to repair Pangu Axe. The enormous amount of energy was instantly absorbed by the primordial origin. The primordial origin frantically deduced and repaired Pangu Axe. When the repair progress was about 10%, the soul energy was depleted. Although the Pangu Axe martial soul was still a remnant soul, it emitted an unprecedented radiance. At this stage, Wang Feng knew that Pangu Axe would have some special abilities. Chapter 16:27. The demonic souls that rose from the surface of the sea stirred up huge waves. Like sand in a funnel, they kept coming out from below. The Pangu Axe martial soul in midair slowly recovered from its original simple shadow as the primordial origin slowly deduced and filled in the gaps. It slowly solidified and returned to its original appearance. It was a supreme sacred artifact that symbolized the creation of the chaotic universe. As long as there was a trace of its true soul, it had a chance to recover completely. Now, as Wang Feng slowly recovered and filled in the gaps, it finally revealed some of its true power. Wang Feng stared intently. No matter how many demonic souls surged out from below, they couldn't make him look away. The humming Pangu Axe finally changed. The wide back of the axe turned into a solid shadow as soul energy was continuously injected into it. After changing in the void, what finally appeared in his vision was an ancient bell. The surface of the bell was engraved with the sun, moon, and stars. It symbolized the changes in time and space. The ancient bell, that was like a mountain, emitted a chaotic light that suppressed the world. After 5 different changes, it illuminated everything in the world. "This is the Chaos Bell?" Wang Feng's eyes narrowed. This bell didn't have the aura of the Pangu Axe that could split heaven and earth. However, it had a supreme sacred might that could suppress the world. There were also powerful time and space laws imprinted on it. Inside the bell, there were countless living races engraved. It was as if all of them were engraved on it. From the dragons, phoenixes, and so on that Wang Feng was more familiar with, there were countless races that he couldn't recognize. Every one of them had the power to capture the heavens and earth and the power to split the moon. When he opened his eyes, there was a brilliant sacred might that was like billions of living beings roaring and shouting. It washed over from all directions, making his soul tremble. Dong! The ancient bell trembled. In an instant, the sun, moon, and stars on the surface moved with the sound of the bell. The roars of thousands of races came from inside the bell. The sound of the bell reverberated, and an ancient divine might was revealed in the world at this moment. Countless demonic souls that had escaped from the seal suddenly froze on the spot. Their souls were shocked by the sound of the bell, and their minds were frightened by the roars of thousands of races. The soul world is different from the real world. The rules are completely different. It might not even be in the same spatial dimension as the real universe. I didn't expect this ancient bell to be so powerful and able to unleash such strength. Wang Feng was secretly shocked. This place was different from the Dark Devil world. Previously, he had thought that this belonged to the Dark Devil world. But after arriving, he realized that this place was very different from the Dark Devil world. Firstly, The rules of heaven and earth were completely different. The Nether River waterfall hung upside down in the clouds, separating the two places. There was soul energy in the air, and there was no day or night here. In other words, there was the flow of time in this place, but there was no change in time. There was only soul energy in the space and nothing else. The vegetation, the island, the land, and so on were all made up of soul energy. In other words, if a real human came here, they wouldn't even last a second before dying. Without any energy, it meant that he couldn't even use his source energy. Wang Feng used the Grand Mist origin to deduce a suitable soul cultivation method system for himself, which required a large amount of god power. Therefore, he could only use the origin exchange art to convert the water in the Nether River into pure energy. Only by injecting it into the primordial chaos source could he activate it. As for the others, he could only use spiritual techniques, such as the chaotic 8 notes. If he didn't learn such techniques, his soul wouldn't even have the slightest bit of combat power. For example, although the souls of Demon God Huang Hai and the others were powerful, their source energy was useless. Against Wang Feng's Pangu Axe martial soul, their chances of winning were not high. Unless, of course, his origin was related to his soul and mind. For example, Yama couldn't kill Demon God Huang Hai and so many soul demons. If they were in the Dark Devil world, Wang Feng estimated that Yama could kill them in a snap of his fingers. But he couldn't do it here. Therefore, in this soul world, this ancient bell could intimidate these soul demons with just a ring. It was really not simple. Moreover, this is not just intimidating, but imprisoning. Wang Feng felt that this huge bell was slightly stronger than the 7 forms that the chaotic green lotus had evolved into. However, compared to the current situation, the strength of the chaotic green lotus was different. Are the tens of thousands of lives engraved in the ancient bell the billions of lives in the primitive world? Then this bell has a saying. Wang Feng carefully sized up the ancient bell for a while. He flew to the top of the bell and could only feel a majestic aura of blood essence coming from inside. Each of the auras of blood essence was not inferior to the aura of life emitted by the demon god's body. After thinking for a few seconds, Wang Feng gently touched the bell with his palm. With his weak soul, he was not affected by this ancient bell at all. Instead, he felt that he could control the hundreds of thousands of soul demons below through this bell. However, this feeling disappeared in a flash. Wang Feng only felt a wave of weakness coming from the depths of his soul. The ancient bell began to appear and disappear. Wang Feng didn't even carefully look at every inch of the bell and the primitive world creatures engraved in it. He felt that this ancient bell might disappear. After pondering for a while, Wang Feng slapped the ancient bell. Clang! The ancient bell rang again through the sky. This time, the soul demons below were quickly shaken into the sea below, as if time was flowing backward. Then, the ancient bell shot out a ray of divine light and directly landed in the sea below. In a moment, they were all sealed again. At the same time, the ancient bell gradually disappeared. It reappeared in the form of the Pangu Axe martial soul and returned to Wang Feng's palm. It already has some form. Wang Feng looked at the Pangu Axe in his hand and suddenly felt a little heavy on his shoulders. That ancient bell was not solid yet. It might just be the beginning of its form. However, there was no doubt that it was powerful. Moreover, the current Pangu Axe martial soul was different from the chaotic green lotus when it was still a Douluo. The various forms' abilities were only revealed in the form of soul skills. At this moment, the Pangu Axe martial soul absorbed soul energy through the primordial origin. After being repaired, the form it transformed into was directly related to the highest level of law origin power. Thinking of this, Wang Fengxin's heart was surging. This was not because the chaotic green lotus was weak. In fact, the chaotic green lotus was also incomplete at that time. However, as Wang Feng cultivated, it slowly revealed its various forms. However, due to the level of power in the Douluo world, even if the chaotic green lotus had evolved into 7 forms, it could only exchange blows with a god king. In fact, the chaotic green lotus only needed to undergo a baptism of a higher level of energy to become a real chaotic green lotus and possess its true power. It was just that he didn't have the chance to do so now. The chaotic green lotus martial soul was still in his body martial soul. His soul was here. Although his body would not disappear, it would fall into an eternal slumber. Chapter 16:28. Until his soul was born and re-entered his main body, or was reborn in the universe with a new body, he could use the one spirit into three pure ones to sense and control his main body. This would be very fast. He had only been here for a few days, but he had already completed 1/10 of the cultivation of the Pangu Axe martial soul. As hundreds of thousands of soul demons were sealed, the world fell silent again. To be precise, this time, they were suppressed and sealed by the Bell of Chaos. It was not the Yama Lord's seal. He had no time to deal with these soul demons now. The demon god of Huang Hai was more important. The Yama Lord had sealed the demon god of Huang Hai in various places. This was a great thing for Wang Feng. Moreover, they were sealed separately. This meant that Wang Feng could slowly eliminate them without any effort and turn them into nourishment for the Pangu Axe. This caused Wang Feng to have a vague feeling. Is the Yama Lord helping me? Wang Fengxin couldn't help but have this thought. But after thinking about it, he felt that it was unlikely. How could the Yama Lord know that he would come here in advance? Speaking of which, when he entered the dark demon world as demon god Dai, he didn't even see the Yama Lord. Keeping this thought for the time being, Wang Feng looked around and could see some of the Saint Spell Masters kneeling below, trembling. They didn't even dare to raise their heads. The pressure of the Bell of Chaos is too strong. These souls can't withstand it at all. Their souls will scatter just by looking at it. Wang Feng shook his head. Only the soul demons were fine. However, the Pangu Axe martial soul had only been restored by 10%, and the pressure of the Bell of Chaos had not reached its peak. Otherwise, the two bell rings just now should have directly shaken those demon souls into soul energy and dissipated. Wang Feng looked around and flew back to the flying sword in the distance. He didn't come alone just now. At this moment, Mu Rou and Shang Jun were still on the flying sword. With the experience just now, Wang Feng didn't plan to bring them with him. He had brought them with him because of the cloud gathering island. Now, it seemed that the demon god of Huang Hai was sealed in this area. This meant that the human soul area of Cloud Gathering Island was very safe. "Senior, why did you go back just now?" Mu Rou asked when she saw Wang Feng return. Wang Feng waved his hand and said, "That demon god is quite cunning." He didn't leave. "However, I plan to leave the two of you here." Hearing this, the two of them were slightly stunned. Hundreds of thousands of demonic souls have been sealed beneath the sea. The two of you stay here and cultivate. If you want to fight your way into the soul-cleansing sea and the reincarnation well, these hundreds of thousands of demonic souls will be your test. Wang Feng pointed into the distance. If you want to lead more human souls into the reincarnation well, then you have to work even harder. Humans were all part of the same race, and so were these sacred Dharma cultivators. They were the same as the immortal cultivators of Cloud Gathering Island. How you deal with it is up to you. I have more important things to do. It's not appropriate to bring the two of you. Originally, he had followed Mu Rou to this area of human souls just to take a look at the situation. He didn't expect to find so many surprises. Now that he had a general idea of the situation, all he needed to do was to quickly go to the human territories and search for the demonic will of the Desolate Sea Demon God. Furthermore, Demon God Desolate Sea was in a sealed state, so it was very easy. Wang Feng did not have the time to slowly linger in this place. He would accompany Mu Rou and the other human souls to slowly cultivate. As long as he deduced a soul cultivation technique, he would be able to cultivate 1,000 miles in a single step. If the primordial chaos origins deduced a soul cultivation technique that belonged to him, it would definitely have no bottlenecks and would be most suitable for him. It would be the fastest and most perfect. and Wang Feng had left behind the Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record, which had been improved and annotated by the primordial chaos origins. It was enough for these human souls to cultivate. Senior, thank you for teaching us. Shang Jun was the first to regain her senses. She knelt down and said respectfully, "If we human souls can be reincarnated in the future, we will definitely pay tribute to Senior's soul in our next life." Wang Feng smiled. In the next life, there would be no memories of the next life. Unless you were extremely talented and cultivated the Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record to the highest level, then entered the reincarnation well to be reincarnated. Then, you would be able to retain some of your memories and start all over again. But that kind of talent was not something that ordinary people could have. Wang Feng estimated that among these human souls, there might only be 1 or 2 in 100 million. But for Mu Rou and Shang Jun, their talents weren't high. They could only be considered above average. They couldn't cultivate to the highest level of the Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record, unless they used cheats. But in this world, what kind of cheats could be used? Then do your best. If you have the chance to meet each other in your reincarnation, I, Wang Aoyan, will make an exception and accept you as my disciples. Wang Feng encouraged the two of them. It was fate that the two of them were able to meet him. Mu Rou and Shang Jun nodded heavily. Wang Feng was about to leave when he suddenly remembered something. He looked at Mu Rou and asked, "Oh, right. Mu Rou, I remember you said you came from the blue planet. Do you know the Blazing Sun Heavenly Court?" Blazing Sun Heavenly Court. Senior, how did you know? Mu Rou looked at Wang Feng in surprise. Senior, didn't you come from another planet? You know about it? Wang Feng asked curiously. Of course. Mu Rou nodded. The Blazing Sun Heavenly Court is an extremely powerful force in the universe called the Blazing Sun Heavenly Path. When the Dark Demon world invaded the Blue Planet, the Blazing Sun Heavenly Path appeared to help the Blue Planet. Also, the Angel Army from another overlord of the universe, the Angel Nebula, came to our Earth. I remember it should be called the Galactic War. With the Blue Planet as the center, the Galactic War broke out. Wang Feng nodded. He didn't know about these things. It should be something that happened on the Cerulean planet after he killed the Imperial Devil God. Speaking of which, there was an extremely powerful angel god in that universe, Holy Kaisha. Wang Feng estimated that she might be equivalent to a universe-level life form. Even if she couldn't reach that level, she might only be half a step away. Compared to those demon gods, she was much, much stronger. However, even with the help of so many forces, the Blue Planet and the super soldiers of the Hero Company couldn't be saved. Mu Rou's expression dimmed. Wang Feng patted Mu Rou's shoulder. Senior, Mu Rou suddenly said, after the Galactic War, the Blazing Sun Heavenly Path and the Angel Nebula joined the war and lost many soldiers. A portion of them were sucked into this world. You should be able to see them. Hearing this, Wang Feng was stunned. Then he nodded. If that was the case, it was a little strange. With the strength of the Blazing Sun Heavenly Path and the Angel Nebula, how could their soldiers' souls be pulled into this world after they died? The souls of ordinary humans on the Blue Planet could be understood. The Dark Demon world was too powerful for them. A portion of them were sucked in? Wang Feng pondered. Could it be that this soul world had other secrets? What about the Angel King of the Angel Nebula, Holy Kaisha? Wang Feng asked. Angel King, Holy Kaisha. When I died, she was no longer there. Mu Rou thought for a moment. No longer there? Wang Feng thought for a moment. It's Angel Yin? No wonder. Compared to Holy Kaisha, this person's strength is too weak. Angel Yin? Mu Rou was stunned. Then, she shook her head and said, No, the successor of the Angel King is Angel Feng, the right-wing guard of Holy Kaisha. Hearing this, Wang Feng's head was full of question marks. Chapter 1629. When Wang Feng left, he was still thinking about what Mu Rou had said. This change is a bit big. Wang Feng pondered. He had watched the original anime and manga before. After the death of Angel King Kaisha, the temporary successor was Angel Yin. Who the hell was this Angel Maple? Where did he come from? He should be a transmigrator. That was interesting. He didn't expect the blue planet where Mu Ro was from to have such a big change. Thinking of this, Wang Feng could understand a little. Angel Maple, what a coincidence. He has the same name as me. Wang Feng decided that if he encountered the souls of the angel warriors in the Angel Nebula, he would ask more. Half a day ago, soul-cleansing ocean. If one looked from the sky, the entire soul-cleansing ocean was in the shape of a spiral. The seawater flowed slowly around the center. Many small islands floated on the spiral-shaped sea. The center was shrouded in a layer of clouds. In the clouds, there were surges made of seawater. Outside the surges, demonic souls looked at them hungrily, as if they wanted to step into the surges. But in the soul-cleansing ocean, there were many demonic souls. Looking down from the sky, there were countless of them. Some were on the sea, and some were on the islands. On the largest island in the center of the soul-cleansing ocean, a demonic soul with vast demonic power stood at the highest point of the island. His whole body was shining with bright soul light. The demonic soul looked no different from a real soul demon, as if it had a physical body. The demonic power on his body soared into the sky, enveloping half of the soul-cleansing ocean. Zhou demonic souls stood in the surroundings in an orderly manner. Not long after, several demonic souls carried a small mountain and flew over. This small mountain was dozens of meters tall, but it was crystal clear and radiant, exuding a huge energy aura. If Muro was here, she would definitely realize that this small mountain was the Forget Soul Pearl. However, this was not a pearl, but a Forget Soul Stone that contained soul energy. It was the size of a mountain. This kind of Forget Soul Stone the size of a small mountain needed to be condensed over a long period of time. The largest devil soul raised its hand, and a third of the small mountain was dug out. It seemed to treat it as an object. This demonic soul absorbed the soul energy in it unhurriedly, but it didn't seem to be interested. After absorbing it for a moment, he tossed it out casually with an impatient look on his face. However, after absorbing the soul energy, his devil soul's aura became even stronger. So what if my devil soul is strong? He let out a cold snort as he stared at the center that was shrouded in clouds. After passing through the water, they arrived at the center of the soul-cleansing sea, where the reincarnation well was. But he didn't go in. He was here on a mission. I, the great imperial demon god, was sent here to guard the well of reincarnation even after my death. Demonic soul's tone was filled with unwillingness. Hateful. However, he seemed to have thought of something. This unwillingness did not turn into action. Ever since he returned from the wormhole, he had been tricked by that human in another world, and even his demonic body had been shattered. Only the demonic soul was left. After returning to the Dark Devil realm, he went to the Clear Sky Palace and was summoned by the Yama Master. Instead, he was sent here to guard the soul-cleansing ocean. However, he did not expect that not long after, the Yama Master would actually come in person. This meant that the Yama Master's demonic body in the Dark Devil realm had also died. Moreover, the Yama Master had entered the Well of Reincarnation and said that he wanted to unveil the Well of Reincarnation to control the Dark Devil realm. In order not to be disturbed, he was sent here to guard the soul-cleansing ocean. He, the great imperial demon god, did not want to obey at first. After all, he was already dead and only his demonic soul was left. In the soul world, the Yama Master might not be much stronger than him. The more he thought about it, the more unhappy he became. He was about to go to the Well of Reincarnation to check it out himself. He did not expect that demon god Huang Hai had also come to the soul world and wanted to barge into the soul-cleansing ocean to enter the Well of Reincarnation. Naturally, he could not stop him. He even planned to join forces with demon god Huang Hai. However, this plan did not succeed. Just as demon god Huang Hai was about to enter the center through the water, Yama Lord appeared and shattered demon god Huang Hai's devil soul. Then, Yama Lord expelled demon god Huang Hai from the soul forbidden zone outside the Styx waterfall and sealed him. That was a little tragic. He did not even have the time to say a word to demon god Huang Hai. After that, when Imperial Demon God saw that scene, he felt that it was not a bad idea to guard the soul-cleansing ocean for a while. It was a good opportunity to strengthen his soul. Huang Hai. Oh, Huang Hai, you are a fool. Imperial Demon God looked into the distance and said slowly, instead of living a carefree life in the dark demon world, you came to the soul world to reincarnate? Why did you provoke the Yama Master? Now that your demonic soul is shattered and sealed in the soul forbidden zone, it must not be good, right? Thinking of this, he could not help but think of that hateful human. If that human comes to the soul world, if I do not torture your soul to the point that you wish you were dead, I am not called Imperial Demon God, he said fiercely. But after saying that, he sighed. With that human's strength and cunning, how could he die in the dark demon world? Thinking of this, Imperial Demon God's fighting spirit fell. At this moment, suddenly, a dazzling light came from afar and turned into a pillar of light that rose slowly. This aura is a little familiar. Why can't I remember? Imperial Demon God looked into the distance. That place was the soul forbidden zone outside the Nether River waterfall. Ever since he came here to suppress the soul cleansing sea, all demonic souls, except for the soul demons, were driven to that place. What a joke. He was a demon god. How could he stay with the souls of other races that were as lowly as ants? The main reason he drove those lowly souls to the soul forbidden zone was to annoy demon god Huang Hai. He liked to hit people when they were down the most. When that human disguised himself as demon god Dai and passed by the infinite demon zone on his way back to the dark demon world, he was the first to find trouble. What a powerful soul pressure. Imperial Demon God opened his eyes and felt very strange. That is the soul forbidden zone. At the edge of the soul world, the soul energy is thin. The souls of soul demons cannot survive for long. Such a powerful soul pressure, what was it? Even from so far away, I can still sense it. It is not ordinary. Could it be that the bastard Huang Hai broke the seal? Impossible. The Yama Master's seal and demonic souls have been sealed. Even if he broke the seal, he would be very weak. How can there be such a powerful soul pressure? No. Let those nightmare souls in the Nether River check it out first. These nightmare souls were mostly demon monarchs when they were alive. It is completely easy for them to kill those lowly souls in the soul forbidden zone. To be able to sense such a powerful soul pressure, there might be a powerful expert among those lowly souls. Thousands of nightmare souls were enough to deal with it. Imperial Demon God pondered and immediately ordered the nightmare souls around him. In just a moment, a group of nightmare souls set out toward the soul forbidden zone. Chapter 16:30. They headed west. According to Mu Ro, the island occupied by the souls of the angel warriors was called Sky Heart Island. It was a place that was comparable to the cultivators of Cloud Gathering Island outside of the Styx River waterfall. The difference was that there weren't many angel warriors in the area they were in. The number was much less than that of humans. Not even 1%. Wang Feng understood this. There weren't many angel warriors in the Angel Nebula. They were elites. This was especially so for high-level angels. They had bodies and could use dark energy. They also had all sorts of powerful technological weapons and true divine power. They weren't much weaker than the demon gods in the dark demon world. They might even be able to fight evenly with the demon gods after leaving the dark demon world. They were much stronger than the cultivators of Cloud Gathering Island in terms of fighting strength. They were at least on the level of immortals. However, it was unlikely that high-level angels would come to the soul world after dying. Those who came were probably low-level and mid-level angels. Basically, the demon god of desolation's demonic will must have been sealed at this location. The reason was simple. The place where the demon god of Huang Hai was sealed must have denser soul energy than other places. Whether it was cultivators, holy spellcasters, or angels, they would definitely choose to stay in places with denser soul energy. The demon god of Huang Hai must have put in a lot of effort to do this. If he didn't make the soul energy in the place where he was sealed more dense, how could he attract others? How could he bewitch others? Oh, there's a battle. A huge island finally appeared in his line of sight. Wang Feng could sense a pure soul aura from afar. This soul aura wasn't just pure, it was also familiar to Wang Feng. It was an angel's soul. Wang Feng was very familiar with it. Speaking of which, the angel martial soul of the Douluo continent. Different angels from different worlds were all the same race. Just like humans, there were traces of humans in countless worlds. However, they were all humans by nature. It was just that their origins might be different. Some were created, and some were slowly evolved from the changes of the species. Wang Feng stopped in his tracks. It's a demonic soul. These angels are really warlike. Wang Feng looked into the distance. He had already sensed the demon god of Huang Hai's demonic consciousness. It should be on Sky Heart Island. However, the battle did not take place on the island. Instead, it took place outside the island. Oh, the souls of these angels only look slightly different. It feels like it was made by an assembly line. Wang Feng vaguely saw a few figures. For some reason, the appearance of these angels reminded Wang Feng of a familiar figure. I don't know where little Snow went. Isn't it better for her to stay in the divine world with her mother? He's running all over the place and doesn't even leave a message. Wang Feng sighed. Looking at her made one think of her. Angels were mostly the same. Even their auras were similar. That was why Wang Feng missed her so much. At this moment, several figures came from afar and landed around Wang Feng like flowing light. With a loud boom, it fell into the sea. It was two angel warriors who had fallen into the water in a sorry state. However, before Wang Feng could react, the two of them flew out from the surface of the sea. Their wings flapped slightly like butterflies as they charged forward again. The ones who died were all female angels. However, to be able to beat up these angel warriors, logically speaking, it should be a very powerful demonic soul. Wang Feng frowned slightly. Shouldn't such powerful soul demons appear in the Nether River? Could it be that they're also sealed? It was impossible that the Lord of Hell had also sealed a large number of demonic souls here, right? At this time, another two silhouettes, accompanied by a powerful soul explosion, shot over and landed at Wang Feng's feet. He might as well ask them directly. Wang Feng was too lazy to think too much. He looked at the angel warrior at his feet. What's the situation with you? What situation? Didn't you see that we were sneak attacked by these ugly soul demons? You're a human soul? The angel warrior's soul trembled as she replied subconsciously. But halfway through, she seemed to realize something. Sneak attacked? Wang Feng thought for a moment. Those are not sealed soul demons? What sealed soul demons? The female angel warrior rose to her feet, her expression cold and furious. It was the soul demons in the Nether River who suddenly attacked Sky Heart Island. Why? Didn't you humans have them? As she spoke, she suddenly rushed in front of Wang Feng. The angel's sword in her hand, which was transformed from soul energy, slashed out a sharp blade of light in front of her. The combat strength of the angel warrior in her soul form was certainly far inferior. Moreover, she could only rely on soul energy to fight. Often, the fiercer the battle, the greater the consumption. Get out of my way. You humans will only drag us down in the galactic war. You're not much use after you die, she said coldly. Although she said that, she still stood in front of Wang Feng, the human soul. Angels who followed the order of justice had a noble concept of justice. However, having such a concept of justice did not mean that they did not have their own character. It was very similar to the angel civilization in Wang Feng's memory. Why did the soul demons sneak attack your Sky Heart Island? Wang Feng asked. Who knows? Why? Are you humans here to deliver a message? Unfortunately, it's too late. Why didn't the cultivators on your cloud gathering island come? Why did they send you a human? The angel warrior in front of him was like a beam of light, her soul flashing with arcs of light. She spoke as she fought. The cultivators on Cloud Gathering Island. Their souls might have already disappeared, Wang Feng said. It seems that a demon god is causing trouble. When I passed by the small island of the Saint Dharma practitioners, I also heard that a demon god is causing trouble. Don't you have one on your Sky Heart Island? The moment he said that, the angel warrior in front of him, who was fighting valiantly, suddenly froze. As expected, how can we angels be the same as those Saint Dharma practitioners and cultivators like the scorching sun heavenly Tao? The angel warrior turned around and stared at Wang Feng. She sneered and said, they were threatened by the demon god and were willing to be controlled. Unfortunately, there are not many angels on our Sky Heart Island for him to control. If he wants to kill, he will kill. If he wants to scrape, he will scrape. Who is afraid? He. It seems that they have suffered the consequences of their own actions. These words confirmed Wang Feng's suspicions. These angel warriors must have been bewitched by the demon god of Desolate Sea. However, it was clear that these angel warriors were tougher. They were not threatened by the demon god of Desolate Sea. So are you here to seek refuge on our Sky Heart Island? She looked at Wang Feng and sized him up. During the Milky Way War, the Angel Nebula has sacrificed enough. We don't owe you humans anything. You can go. Go somewhere else. A human like you will only become a burden to the demon god to threaten us. Wang Feng laughed. What she said made sense. No wonder these angels were not threatened. There were probably no humans in their area. Even if the demon god of Desolate Sea wanted to threaten them, he would not be able to find a chance. You misunderstood. I am not here to seek refuge, Wang Feng said. Then what are you here for? She frowned and asked. I am here to harvest the demon god. Wang Feng looked at Sky Heart Island and said slowly. After saying that, his palm shook and the Pangu axe suddenly appeared. Then he leaped up and chopped at Sky Heart Island in front of him. The bright axe light illuminated the sky, imprinting the beautiful face of the Angel Nebula with ink. Following the rumbling sound of 1,000-foot wave, Sky Heart Island in the distance was split into two. Chapter 16:31. With a swing of the axe, he split Sky Heart Island in front of him. The waves split into two. An extremely powerful soul aura slowly rose from the bottom of Sky Heart Island. Feeling this aura, Wang Feng's eyes looked as if he was looking at a delicious meal. You. This angel warrior was stunned for a long time. However, when she came back to her senses, her mind went blank. She could not speak at all. There are not many angels on Sky Heart Island. My axe did not hurt your souls. Wang Feng said, the demon god sealed in Sky Heart Island is not easy for you, right? You have to watch it in fear every day. Although you angels have your own beliefs and will not be bewitched. However, guarding such a demon god is a huge burden for all of you. Wang Feng weighed the Pangu axe. He attacked decisively, not intending to give the demon god of desolation any chance to escape. He did not even give him a chance to quibble. After the axe split Sky Heart Island, the seal on the island was revealed. The seal beneath the island was revealed. Not only did this axe cleave apart Sky Heart Island, but it also broke the seal. Wang Feng glanced at the soul demons around him and said, although you angels claim to have cut ties with humans, you have settled on Sky Heart Island and are not bewitched by the demon god of desolation. With your strength, you angels are strong enough to break into the soul cleansing sea and enter the cycle of reincarnation. But you still did not leave. You still want to guard this demon god. You do not want him to harm humans. However, you angels must be very disappointed because those saint spellcasters and immortal cultivators have been bewitched by the demon god. They have secretly done things that you angels find shameful. That is why you look down on humans. Wang Feng revealed the secret in the angel warrior's heart with one sentence. According to this angel, they were not bewitched by the demon god of desolation. Then, there was no need for them to stay here. They could just leave. The souls of these angel warriors were not weak. It was not difficult for them to enter the soul-cleansing sea. If there were souls of high-level angel warriors, they might even be able to enter the reincarnation well. They did not leave because they wanted to guard the demon god of desolation. Evil should be suppressed. She didn't admit to Wang Feng's words. Instead, she stared at Wang Feng cautiously. You broke the seal on Sky Heart Island and released the soul of the demonic god. What are you trying to do? You're just a human soul. How can you take the soul of a demon god? The weapon in your hand is very special, but it can't hide the fact that your soul is weak. Also, we're currently being attacked by the soul demons from the Nether River. We've fallen into a bitter battle. The loss of Sky Heart Island means that we've lost our headquarters as well. You humans are really stubborn. If you have the ability, just kill these soul demons. The angel warrior was still as arrogant as ever. You're right. It's a fact that my soul is weak. Wang Feng felt that the angels' personalities reminded him of Qian Renxue. No matter what universe an angel was in, they were all the same. However, it wasn't my soul that absorbed it, but it. Wang Feng threw out the Pangu axe in his hand. As for these soul demons, you are the ones who are fighting a bitter battle. You angels claim to be the enforcers of the universe's justice. If I help you get rid of these soul demons, won't I be looking down on you? It's better if you do it yourselves. You. The angel warrior was stunned. She probably didn't expect this human to be more arrogant than them. She snorted coldly. You speak as if you can get rid of so many soul demons. Wang Feng ignored her. He drove the Pangu axe with his soul and flew to the sky above Sky Heart Island. Rumble. Under the sea, the ancient seal slowly disintegrated. The huge demon shadow, accompanied by extremely dark soul energy, turned into a towering demon shadow. Human, are you really going to be so ruthless? The demon god Huang Hai's roar came from afar. It was filled with extreme reluctance and anger. If you and I work together, I'll give you that demon chi. Don't you want to know why the Yama Lord entered the reincarnation well? The demon god Huang Hai's voice entered his ears as if he wanted to make a final struggle. If you let me go, I'll tell you a shocking secret. This secret is not only related to the reincarnation well, but also the universe's calamity. It's even somewhat related to the god realm. Wang Feng shook his head and said casually, "Sorry, I'm not interested." Wang Feng didn't believe a single word the demon god Huang Hai said. Then, Wang Feng activated the primordial origin, grasped the void, and chopped at the demon shadow with the Pangu axe. Ha! You will regret it. The demonic will of the desolate sea's demonic god muttered one last sentence with a desolate laugh. Continue acting if you want to. Wang Feng smiled. The demon god Huang Hai was good at messing with people's minds. Wang Feng wasn't in a hurry, but he was. The demon god Huang Hai was now a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. He had no right to negotiate with him. He was a demon god, so it was normal for him to have a few big secrets. But Wang Feng was sure that these secrets were nothing to him. After all, he was only a few steps away from the reincarnation well. He didn't need the demon god Huang Hai to tell him any secrets. He would know them sooner or later. This bastard was just trying to mess with his mind. That way, he would have more chances. It wasn't like Wang Feng hadn't used this trick before. After the Pangu axe cut through the demon god Huang Hai's demon god Huang Hai's demon god Huang Hai, the primordial origin absorbed the soul energy and supplied it to the Pangu axe. Wang Feng put away the Pangu axe, turned around, and looked at the stunned angel warrior. What's your name? She was dazed again. She answered subconsciously. Mo, Angel Mo. I'm Holy Kaisha's protector, Angel Lung. As soon as she finished speaking, she came to her senses and looked at Wang Feng silently. This human was unfathomable. Angel Lung. I'm familiar with this name. Wang Feng tried to recall. Protector angels were all high-level angels. Holy Kaisha seemed to have more than 10 protector angels. How old are you? Wang Feng asked. 1,300 years old, so young. Sacrificed 1,000 years old. What a pity. Wang Feng sighed. Unknowingly, he was also an old monster who was tens of thousands of years old. For beings with long lifespans like angels, 1,000 years old was very young. You're just a human. Angel Mo glanced at Wang Feng. She wanted to say, what right does a human soul have to call me young? But after thinking about it, he decided to forget about it. The demon god from before seemed to know this human, which meant that he was not an ordinary human. All right, let's leave it at that. I'm leaving now. Wang Feng waved his hand and nodded slightly as he sensed the Pangu axe slowly recovering. He estimated that he would be able to recover 20% to 30% of his strength after absorbing all of demon god Huanghai's demonic will. However, from the looks of it, as the Pangu Axe martial spirit's cultivation progressed, it would require more soul energy. In a chapter. Chapter 16:32. You're leaving just like that? Angel Foam looked at her fellow angels who were still in a bitter battle ahead. The Axe Light just now had split Sky Heart Island and released the demon god. Many of the angel warriors thought that another powerful soul demon had descended and their fighting spirit dropped a lot. Fortunately, the demon god had only taken a few breaths before it was killed. This made the fighting spirit of the angel warriors rise again. However, two fists were no match for four hands. The densely packed soul demons were innumerable. Why? You want a human like me to help? Wang Feng stopped and squinted at her. This is not the style of you angels. My goal is only that demon god. Angels don't need anyone's help. Go. Angel Foam shook her head. We will deal with these soul demons. Monarch Tianxiu will protect us. After saying that, her soul suddenly emitted a powerful soul fluctuation, and she shouted again and again. Build holiness with the body. Burn away the darkness with the soul, and the light of justice will illuminate every world. Monarch Tianxiu will protect us angels. Wang Feng's eyelids twitched. This angel was going to burn her soul to fight. She was a bit stubborn. And who is Monarch Tianxiu? Since he succeeded the throne of Holy Kaisha, shouldn't he be called Monarch Tianxiu? Could it be that Angel Maple had changed his title? Thinking of this, Wang Feng suddenly said, Wait a minute. Wait, I'll ask you a few questions. If you answer me honestly, I'll tell you the truth. If you answer me truthfully, I'll destroy these soul demons. Wang Feng said to destroy these soul demons, but he didn't say that he would help them. Otherwise, with the rigidity of these angels, they probably wouldn't accept it. Angel Foam was stunned. The soul flame that had just ignited all over her body was extinguished before it could continue burning. After a moment of silence, she said, What's the question? If you want to inquire about the secret of the Angel Nebula, you could just leave. I'm not interested in your Angel Nebula. Wang Feng waved his hand. But who is this Monarch Tianxiu you mentioned? It seems that you're not a human of our universe at all. When Angel Foam heard this question, she seemed to understand something. She raised her head slightly and said proudly, Monarch Tianxiu is the highest leader of our angel civilization. After succeeding Queen Keisha, he's the fourth transcendent angel to have his own king title. Her life is only 10,000 years, but it is a life that every angel needs to look up to and learn from at all times. Is your holy Queen Keisha so powerful? Only 10,000 years old, Wang Feng said with a smile. What do you know? Angel Foam was furious. Queen Keisha made us the pioneers and founders of angel civilization. It is the ultimate ideology of justice, the symbol of the strongest in the universe. In other words, she's not as powerful as Holy Kaisha. Wang Feng shook his head. I thought she was more powerful. This little angel was very tender. You. Angel Foam pointed at Wang Feng. She was so angry that she couldn't speak. Heavenly Alchemy King is different. When she was born in our angel civilization, there was already the phenomenon of the Canyao Emperor Star in the universe. In less than 100 years, she became a high-level angel. Even Queen Keisha can't compare with him. And then, Angel Foam calmed down a little and snorted. Later, she comprehended the holy ideology of angels. She believed that angels should not only enforce justice in the universe, but also take the initiative to eliminate all evil. So she left Angel Nebula and went to every corner of the universe alone. She participated in countless wars. Nearly 5 years ago, she killed almost all the demons in the universe. Wang Feng. Not only that, all life related to evil was either purified, expelled, or destroyed. She let the name of Angel spread throughout the universe. At that time, there were some problems in Angel Nebula. Queen Keisha unfortunately fell. Angel Foam said in a low voice. Heavenly Alchemy King returned to Angel Nebula. Under the orders of Queen Keisha and Sky Base King Crane Shi, he became the new king of Angel Nebula, Heavenly Alchemy King. No matter how old the angels in Angel Nebula are, no one dares to disobey. Sounds quite powerful. Wang Feng nodded. That's right. It must be a transmigrator. However, looking at the situation, it should be a female transmigrator. Of course, it could also be a male. However, this transmigrator obviously wasn't that good. Since she had already transmigrated, how could she let Holy Keisha die? No, Holy Keisha shouldn't be dead. According to Holy Keisha's settings, her life level was too high. She couldn't be killed, just like those universe-level life forms. After they died, their bodies and souls would turn into countless particles and dissipate in various worlds of the universe. Until one day, there might be a possibility of recombining. However, the probability was too low. Those void life forms were formed from a fusion of these universe-level life forms particles and soul energy after they died. Right? Angel Foam was satisfied with Wang Feng's approval. And then, Wang Feng asked, that's it. Of course there's more. Angel Foam said loudly. After Heavenly Alchemy King succeeded the throne, he established a Dark Order on top of Queen Keisha's Justice Order. Dark Order? Wang Feng was stunned. That's not right. Angel's order was similar to a theory of thought, just like how angels believed in justice and carried out justice. That's right, Dark Order. Angel Foam's tone was solemn, her expression holy. After Heavenly Alchemy King succeeded the throne, he continuously quelled the chaos in the universe several times. She discovered that although justice illuminated the entire universe, there was no absolute justice in the universe. Darkness was born all the time. It was something that could never be eliminated. He eliminated the evil demon race and the soul demon of the dark demon world. Even the angel race would give birth to some darkness. Hence, he established the Dark Order within the Justice Order. Since he couldn't completely eliminate it, Heavenly Alchemy King believed that he had to completely control the darkness. Isn't this a betrayal? Wang Feng pondered. This Heavenly Alchemy King should have been crippled, right? No. Angel Foam shook her head. Heavenly Alchemy King destroyed countless darkness. She understood the darkness of the universe very well. When it was first established, there were many angels who opposed it. However, following that, many angels took the initiative to join the ranks of the Dark Order. And these angels were called the Dark Angels. They possessed different powers. However, they used another method to carry out the justice of the angels. Different from the angels of Justice Order, they were warlike, bloodthirsty, extremely cruel to their enemies, but they were stronger. However, they all believed in Heavenly Alchemy King. So, you angels split internally? Wang Feng was surprised. In the beginning, the split lasted for about 300 years. Angel Foam said slowly. But later, the darkness of the Angel Nebula and the old angels of the Sky Palace Order attacked the Angel Nebula. At that time, Heavenly Alchemy King, who had left the Angel Nebula to develop the Dark Order in the universe, was not there. Skybase King Hishi could not defeat the leader of the Sky Palace Order, Hua Yi. At that time, Heavenly Alchemy King, who founded the Dark Order, returned in time. What the Angel Nebula did not expect was that Heavenly Alchemy King led the Dark Angels, who had only developed the Dark Order for 300 years. Not only did they save Skybase King Hishi, but they also crushed the angels of the Sky Palace Order and killed Hua Ye's divine body in one move. Wang Feng nodded and said in admiration, amazing. After that, the Angel Nebula established two orders. The Dark Order in the universe was called the Other Side of Justice. Later, in the galactic battle with the Dark Demon World, the Dark Angels who believed in the Dark Order became the main force. When Angel Foam finished speaking, there was undisguised admiration in her tone. Not bad. She has the demeanor of a transmigrator. Wang Feng nodded. He somewhat approved of Heavenly Alchemy King as a transmigrator. If there was a chance, he could get to know her. Heavenly Alchemy King is Angel Maple, right? Wang Feng said with a smile. Yes. Angel Feng said and added, full name, Feng Yuxiu. Feng Yuxiu. Wang Feng subconsciously acknowledged. Then his smile gradually froze. That's not right. This name, why do I feel a little familiar, and those dark angels in a chapter? Chapter 16:33. Wang Feng's eyelids twitched. However, the current situation was not clear. Simply using the name to confirm the identity felt somewhat fake. Judging from the age, the timing does match. Wang Feng muttered. Unfortunately, if he could contact Shiyu in the deity world, he might be able to get some information from her to confirm. Are you shocked by the deeds of our Tianxiu monarch? Angel Mo finally felt a little elated. This was the pride of the Angel Nebula. Indeed, I was shocked. Wang Feng nodded. If there's a chance, I hope to meet him. Then we may only meet in the next life. Angel Mo said regretfully. Even if our souls enter the reincarnation well, we can't directly return to the universe we are in. We are different. Wang Feng thought for a moment and stood up. He was about to use the chaos to kill all the soul demons in front of him. However, he suddenly thought of something and asked, did your Tianxiu monarch become someone's guardian angel? Guardian angel? Who is qualified? Angel Mo smiled disdainfully. In our universe, the person who can make our Tianxiu monarch a guardian angel has not been born yet. Indeed, he hasn't been born yet. Wang Feng nodded again. I'm very interested in what you said. I'll help you. After saying that, Wang Feng shook the pango axe in his hand and flew up into the sky. The back of the axe flashed with light and instantly turned into an ancient bell. The light of the chaos descended from the sky, accompanied by the sound of the ancient bell. The countless demonic souls fighting below suddenly trembled. Shake! Wang Feng clenched his hand, and the bell emitted a faint divine light that suppressed the world. The light sprinkled down, and countless demonic souls seemed to be sucked into a tornado. The energy in their souls was sucked dry. It's become stronger again. Wang Feng thought. This bell could suppress everything in the world and change time and space. Last time on the Saint Magic Island, it relied on turning back time to reseal those demonic souls. This time, after absorbing the demonic will of the demon god of Huanghai, the divine light it released could directly disperse the soul energy of these demonic souls. Although it hadn't reached the point where they were completely shaken into soul energy, it had greatly weakened the combat power of these demonic souls. Some of the weaker ones were completely unable to withstand the pressure emitted by the Bell of Chaos. Their demonic souls directly disappeared. In the space enveloped by the divine light, these demonic souls were unable to move. Suppressing heaven and earth, reversing time. I wonder what will happen if I absorb the souls of the billions of desolate wastelands living beings carved into the bell. Wang Feng understood. Suppressing the heavens and earth was not an incredible ability. For example, the Black Tide in the Dark Devil world. The Black Tide was a universe-level disaster. It was enough to shake the foundation of the Dark Demon world. Moreover, there were countless spatial rifts in the Dark Demon world that could not be repaired. If Wang Feng's Pangu axe could be transformed into the Bell of Chaos, even if it was not completely repaired, it would not be able to suppress the entire Dark Fiend world. However, suppressing a few infernal realms was not a problem at all. A disaster like the Black Tide could not spread out at all. Those spatial cracks would be firmly sealed, making it even harder for those void creatures to enter the Dark Devil world. At this moment, the demonic soul was intimidated. Although the angel warriors did not know who was helping them, they were strong in fighting, so they immediately killed the attacking soul demon without hesitation. The battlefield was one-sided, and it did not take long for it to end. For this, Wang Feng left a few demonic souls behind and then grabbed them into the Bell of Chaos, intending to experiment. At the same time, he wanted to find out where these soul demons came from. Putting away the Bell of Chaos, Wang Feng said goodbye to Angel, a little angel. We'll meet again if fate wills it. Hey, wait. Angel Emo held her hand. Although I don't want to admit it, you did help us angels. What's your name? Me? Wang Feng thought for a moment and suddenly said, My name is Xie Qianren. After saying that, Wang Feng flew in another direction at top speed. Xie Qianren? Angel Emo pondered for a while and felt that she had heard it somewhere before. However, because she had been dead for too long, many memories began to fade from her soul, causing a small gap in her memory. At this moment, several angels flew over from afar. Little Emo, what are you doing here? We were fighting a hard battle just now. But you're still in a daze here? Who's in a daze? Angel Emo frowned and said, I spent a lot of effort just now. Forget it. Even if I tell you, you won't understand. I still haven't come back to my senses. This human. Her voice became softer and softer. What are you mumbling about? Now that the demon god has been killed by that mysterious Axelite, Captain Lung said that she plans to bring us to the reincarnation well. She plans to give it a try. Angel Emo nodded and suddenly asked, Yun, have you heard the name Xie Qianren? Do you feel that it's familiar? I feel that it has something to do with Tian Xiu King. Xie Qianren. Let me think, Sai. I don't remember. I feel that our memories are gradually weakening, as if we have Alzheimer's. If we continue to stay in this place, sooner or later, we won't remember anything. Tian Xiu King. You can ask Captain Lung directly. Captain Lung admires Tian Xiu King the most, and she was the first batch of Dark Angels to join the Dark Order. She knows Tian Xiu King very well. After leaving Sky Heart Island, Wang Feng headed to the next location. The human area outside the Styx River waterfall was mainly populated by humans. Of course, there were also many lives from other worlds. Most of them were chased out by force. Moreover, most of the souls were the souls of ordinary humans. Almost every day, every moment, there were many human souls disappearing. Just like the island where Mu Ro was, when he arrived, he heard a requiem, which meant that souls had disappeared. The closest to Sky Heart Island, there was no closest one. They were all very far away. Creatures like angels were very proud and disdained to be neighbors with others. Wang Feng flew for half a day, but he didn't see anyone. At most, there are 3 demonic thoughts left. That dog demon god Huang Hai is done for. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief, but he didn't let down his guard. The biggest gain from Sky Heart Island wasn't how much his Pangu Axe martial soul was restored. Instead, it was the news about Qianren Xue, although he wasn't completely sure. Speaking of which, there's still no news about Hulina, Wang Feng pondered. I just heard about Qianren Xue. Why am I thinking about Hulina again? I'm such a scumbag. Wang Feng coughed a few times. Wang Feng only heard about Hulina from the Crimson Deity Sky Fox. At that time, the Crimson Deity Sky Fox wanted to erase his memories of other women because of Hulina to ensure that he only had Hulina in his heart. One could imagine that the Crimson Deity Sky Fox liked Hulina a lot. Chapter 1634. Hulina should be blessed by the heavens. She got the recognition of the Crimson Divine Sky Fox. I think she should be doing well. Wang Feng's gaze fell on the front. Islands that were neither big nor small began to be densely distributed in the sea area in front of them. Wang Feng closed his eyes and sniffed lightly. The smell of this soul is a bit special. There are humans, but more of other souls. Wang Feng was very sensitive to the aura of souls at this time, because he didn't stop using the primordial origin to deduce the progress of soul cultivation techniques and systems along the way. Instead, he kept using the origin exchange technique to exchange for energy and keep the primordial origin in a state of operation. The more he deduced, the more Wang Fengxin understood about souls. This demonic should be in the central island ahead. Wang Feng looked ahead. He didn't slow down. Not long after, he finally saw souls that were completely different from humans. They were beasts. That's right, these strange-looking souls in front of him were not human souls, but beasts. What a sin! How many worlds has the Dark Demon Realm invaded? And there are so many beast souls. Wang Feng sighed. In a sense, the Dark Demon Realm wasn't wrong. The resources of the dark demon realm couldn't support the cultivation of those soul demons. They could only cultivate by plundering the resources and lives of other worlds. Especially an intelligent weapon like the Godslayer, the resources it consumed were often measured in worlds. It seems there are also soul beasts from the Douluo world. Wang Feng saw some familiar figures. The plain passage controlled by the divine realm was cut off, and the soul demons invaded. The souls of the dead creatures of these invaded worlds were also absorbed into this world. Because the passage was blocked, normally speaking, the reincarnation of the plane controlled by the divine realm was managed by Shiyu. After they died, they should enter the sea of reincarnation of the divine realm to be reincarnated. And now, they were all sucked in here. But there weren't many, because when the soul demons invaded the Douluo world, Wang Feng had just woken up and was vigorously developing soul contractors. The subsequent war, as expected, was won by the humans. Things were still beasts. Don't cut the line, you little beast. Stay aside. On the island in front, a black python with 3 snake heads spat out a sentence in human language, scolding a seemingly young demonic beast. It was unknown why. On a small island in front of them, there was a long queue. In addition to the souls of humans, there were also countless souls of demonic beasts. They formed a long line, high and low. It was a spectacular sight. The end of the line was the island where Wang Feng had sensed the demonic will. And this soul beast seems to be a mutated golden lightning leopard 10,000 years later. Wang Feng took a closer look and realized that this soul beast was very familiar. The golden lightning leopard was the contributor to his chaotic green lotus first soul ring. 10,000 years later, these soul beasts would mutate into silver light leopards, lightning flash leopards, and so on. It had also become much smaller. Things had changed with the passage of time. He didn't expect to see the soul of a golden lightning leopard here, and from the looks of it, it was quite young. As soon as the golden lightning leopard was reprimanded by the black python, it immediately cowered and retreated. Obviously, he wasn't the one who cut the queue. Get lost, get to the back, don't stand in front of me. As soon as the leopard retreated, the demonic beast behind it immediately chased it away. Step by step, it was driven to the back of the pack. It's a soul beast from the Douluo world. How can it be bullied by a demonic beast from another world? What a shame. Wang Feng looked at this scene. He thought that if Qing Qing and the others saw this scene, they would probably be very angry. After thinking for a while, he walked over and looked at the golden lightning leopard that was only half his height and looked like it had just reached adulthood. You're a soul beast, right? That black python cut your line, and you're just going to let it go like this? The golden lightning leopard raised its head and glanced at Wang Feng. It wasn't too surprised. It rolled its eyes and lazily said, "That's right. So you're a human. It's really easy to talk. That's a 3-headed dragon snake, and I'm just a little leopard. I can't afford to offend it. So what can I do? Wait, you know that I'm a soul beast. Are you a human soul master?" The golden lightning leopard circled around Wang Feng and said with a little surprise, "Old friend." As expected of a soul beast from 10,000 years later, its intelligence was still so high after death. "Who's your old friend?" Wang Feng looked at the little leopard with amusement. "I'm a human, and you're a soul beast. We're of different races." "I owe what?" The golden lightning leopard looked at Wang Feng in surprise. "You human, when did you die?" "Before I died, humans and soul beasts had already joined forces to deal with those soul demons. We're comrades. Don't tell me you don't even know about soul contract masters?" At this point, the golden lightning leopard looked at the sky with a little disappointment. "What a pity. You missed a great era." Wang Feng, "But I missed it too." The golden lightning leopard lay on the ground and said with a little self-mockery, "I didn't have time to enjoy that great era, and I died first." Sigh, soul beasts like us who died in the battle with the soul demons are the most tragic. I didn't expect to be bullied in this world as a soul. If I can enter the cycle of reincarnation, I definitely don't want to be reincarnated as a golden lightning leopard in my next life. Listening to the golden lightning leopard scolding himself, Wang Feng actually felt a little serious. Then what do you want to be? Wang Feng asked. Become a human. Anything is fine, as long as you don't become a golden lightning leopard, he said, then looked at Wang Feng. You're a soul master from the human world? How did you die? Did you also die in the battle between humans and soul demons? No, you're not a soul contract master. I self-detonated while fighting the strongest soul demon, Wang Feng said. That's right. Theoretically speaking, Emotiance was the strongest existence among the soul demons, the only one who had reached the universe level among soul demons. Then you're still a hero among humans. The golden lightning leopard sighed. But in that battle, the number of deaths of humans and soul beasts was very small. You and I are both unfortunate, but you're much stronger than us. This little leopard didn't seem to suspect that Wang Feng was lying to him. By the way, what are you doing here? Wang Feng nodded with a smile and squatted down to look at the long line in front. The golden lightning leopard looked at Wang Feng strangely and said, Don't you know? This is Fox Hill Island. There's a scarlet fox supreme who knows yin and yang, can calculate the fate of heaven, and can see through marriage. It's said that this white fox god was a very powerful deity when she was alive. She came from the soul-cleansing sea. She could have been reincarnated long ago, but she didn't enter the legendary soul-cleansing sea. Instead, he stayed behind and continued to answer the questions of us lost souls. He pointed at the long line and said, These beasts all want to know how their friends and partners are doing after they die. This scarlet fox, revered master, will be able to tell them to calm their hearts and make them feel at ease. Scarlet Fox Supreme. Wang Feng looked at the small island in the distance and frowned slightly. You don't even know this? What are you doing here? The golden lightning leopard poked Wang Feng's soul and said with a respectful tone, This Scarlet Fox Supreme is not only powerful and can protect a region. The 3 strongest beast emperors in our region were much stronger than million-year soul beasts when they were alive. But they all worship and respect this Scarlet Fox Supreme. Its strength is unfathomable. At this point, the golden lightning leopard said in a low voice, It said that under this small island, there's a deity's soul among the soul demons called the demonic god. The Crimson Fox Supremacy had specifically suppressed it on this small island. Otherwise, all the souls in our region would have been devoured by this demonic god. Is that so? Wang Feng nodded thoughtfully. Chapter 1635. Fox Hill Island. It was very famous in this area, mainly because it was very famous among the souls of the demonic beasts. Wang Feng had never heard of it before. This was because this area was relatively far from the human area where Mu Ro was. The Angels of Sky Heart Island would not bother to go to other areas, let alone to the demonic beasts. The Scarlet Fox, supreme being that the golden lightning leopard spoke of, only had an area of influence within this area. In this long queue, human souls only made up a small part of it. They must have come here and heard about it, so they all lined up to pay a visit to the Scarlet Fox Supreme Being. What was interesting was what the Golden Lightning Leopard said. This Scarlet Fox Supreme Being had obviously stayed in this world for a long time. It was not right for him to be so low-key after such a long time. After pondering for a while, Wang Feng felt that this junior leopard's news was most likely hearsay. There are so many beast souls. Wang Feng looked at the long queue and thought that he might as well just chop the island with his axe. Of course, there are more and more beasts dying these days. The Golden Lightning Leopard said, If you want to line up, it will take at least 2 days before it's your turn. However, I think there should be a shortcut. Wang Feng said with a serious face. What shortcut? The Golden Lightning Leopard was stunned. I've been here for a while. Why don't I know of any shortcuts? Wang Feng walked towards the 3-headed black snake. This 3-headed black snake was quite large, 7 to 8 meters tall. From afar, its soul looked like a mirage, ferocious and terrifying. It was probably not a good thing when it was alive. Wang Feng took a step forward and stood behind the 3-headed black snake, then said to the 3-headed black snake in front of him, Little snake in front, quickly move aside. You're cutting the queue. This action was so familiar that the Golden Lightning Leopard at the back sucked in a breath of cold air exclaiming in its heart. The three-headed dragon snake in front turned around and looked for a long time, then lowered its head and realized that it was a human who was talking to it. It was stunned for a long time. The other demonic beasts in front and behind were also stunned for a long time, then burst into strange laughter. "Human, are you talking to me?" The three-headed dragon snake looked at Wang Feng with uncertainty. "What else can I do? You cut the queue. Hurry up and go to the back." Wang Feng waved his hand. The three-headed dragon snake was still in disbelief. It was one thing for a human soul to come to their demonic beast territory, but this was the first time he had seen someone so arrogant. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. It was so sudden that the three-headed dragon snake did not know how to respond. After thinking about it, he felt that he should just beat him up. The three-headed dragon snake nodded. He felt that this was a good idea. Just as he was thinking this, all of a sudden, the human took out an ordinary-looking axe. Then, the back of the axe came slashing over. Boom! The three-headed dragon snake felt a surge of energy coming down from the axe. He felt as if his soul had been hit by the entire world. His huge soul form was blasted into a stream of light and flew into the distance, turning into a speck of light. "Dilly-dallying," Wang Feng said. Then he looked at the demonic beast in front of him and continued, "You cut the line. Either you go to the back or—" Wang Feng weighed the axe in his hand. The demonic beast in front of him was a dragon elephant with wings. When it heard Wang Feng's words, it glanced at the three-headed dragon snake and quickly moved aside to make way. "He's a big boss." The golden thunder leopard at the back came to his senses and hurriedly followed. A ruthless person who can fight with the strongest soul demons and self-destruct is indeed powerful. Wang Feng walked unimpeded all the way to Fox Hill Island in front of him. He felt that the three-headed dragon snake's method was excellent. "Everyone in front of me is cutting the line." The golden thunder leopard at the back puffed out its chest and sucked in its stomach. It followed behind Wang Feng valiantly and also walked unimpeded all the way to Fox Hill Island. Along the way, they also encountered a few tough opponents. However, in the eyes of the golden thunder leopard, this human fellow was too strong. Not a single demonic beast could last more than 2 rounds with the axe in his hand. Basically, they were all sent flying. It's obvious that his soul is weak, but he's so strong. The world of the strong is indeed beyond my imagination. The golden thunder leopard obediently hugged Wang Feng's thigh. While it felt comfortable in its heart, it sighed repeatedly. Not long after, Fox Hill Island was already in front of them. This line was almost at the end. "Human, don't be too arrogant." Finally, a demonic beast could not stand it anymore. It was a golden-eyed tiger beast. Its appearance did not seem to be anything special. However, the surrounding demonic beasts had awe in their eyes. "This is one of the 3 beast emperors on our side, the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor. Fellow townsmen, you can't cut this person's line." The golden thunder leopard followed behind Wang Feng and whispered, "It was an existence comparable to a god when it was alive. You have to know that among us soul beasts, there is no one who can become a god." Wang Feng smiled, looked at the golden tiger emperor, and said, "Are you going to let me through or not?" After saying that, it raised its axe slightly. "You." The great flame golden tiger emperor held its breath, turned slightly, and said arrogantly, "If you want to pass, then pass. You talk too much nonsense." The golden thunder leopard. He just watched as his fellow townsmen swaggered over. His mind was full of question marks. No, it was one of the 3 beast emperors. In this place, other than the Crimson Fox Supreme, it was the strongest existence. Who would dare to be arrogant? Unexpectedly, Wang Feng touched the Pangu axe in his hand. As the speed of the repair gradually increased, the pressure this axe brought to these souls increased day by day. Even if he did not attack, just holding in his hand was enough to make these souls feel the threat of death. Although the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was very arrogant, it was obviously because it was very powerful when it was alive that it could feel the aura of the Pangu axe. Fellow townsmen, you're amazing. Even a Golden Tiger Emperor is afraid. The golden thunder leopard was still following behind Wang Feng. Speaking of which, you want to see the crimson fox supreme. It seems that you still have many regrets when you were alive. That's not it. Wang Feng shook his head. Then why are you here? The golden thunder leopard was puzzled. You've offended many demonic beasts this time. Wang Feng weighed the pango axe. At this time, they had also reached the end of the line. It happened to be on the coast of Fox Hill Island. In front of them, there's a vertical staircase. On the staircase, there were many demonic beasts waiting to meet the Crimson Fox Supreme. All of them looked excited. Soon, demonic beasts walked down from the top of the staircase. Their expressions were either gratified, angry, disappointed, or unwilling. Thousands of emotions could be seen from these demonic beasts. Chapter 1636. Occasionally, there would be one or two humans. We'll be able to see the Scarlet Fox Supreme after we pass the stairs. The Golden Lightning Leopard said. Wang Feng nodded. He could clearly sense the demonic will of the demon god of Huang Hai. It was on this island. However, this demonic will was more obscure than the previous ones. This meant that the seal was extremely stable. Perhaps it was the Scarlet Fox Supreme's doing. The Golden Lightning Leopard looked at Wang Feng, who was about to step onto the stairs, and suddenly said timidly, "Old friend, I'm a little scared." "What are you scared of?" Wang Feng looked at the leopard in surprise. "I'm a little scared. What if the Scarlet Fox Supreme tells me that something happened to my friends and partners?" The Golden Lightning Leopard looked disappointed. "If something happened to them, you two should have met by now," Wang Feng said. No. The Golden Lightning Leopard shook its head. "That's not what I'm talking about." "Then what is it?" Wang Feng asked. The Golden Lightning Leopard hesitated for a moment, then said, "You know that soul beast partners aren't that loyal to each other. If I die, my wife and children will definitely be with other soul beasts. It's hard to bear. Look at those demonic beasts walking down the stairs. They're probably like that." The Golden Lightning Leopard pointed at the demonic beasts walking down the stairs. "Well," Wang Feng pondered for a moment. "Then it's fine if you don't know. As long as you don't know, you won't feel bad." "How can that be?" The Golden Lightning Leopard shook its head. "I'm here because I want to know how they're doing." Wang Feng smiled. He walked up the stairs. The stairs weren't high. There were more than 200 steps. When he reached the top, he saw a huge purple ancient tree. Under the tree, there was a graceful fox figure. Below the head, it looked like a human. Only its head was a scarlet fox head with red eyes. It was the Scarlet Fox Supreme that the Golden Lightning Leopard mentioned. In front of the Scarlet Fox Supreme, there was another demonic beast. It seemed to be asking something. At this moment, the Scarlet Fox Supreme formed a seal with both hands and shot out a light screen in the air. Then it raised its hand and gently grabbed a leaf from the purple ancient tree, then threw it forward. It seemed to be using some ancient soul secret technique. In an instant, the light screen in front of him displayed a series of realistic images. It showed two demon beasts running at full speed in the forest, with two soul demons chasing after them. The moment the demonic beast caught sight of this, it was enraged to the extreme as it hurled itself towards the void. It was as if it wanted to shatter the image. "Your wife and child are in a very bad situation. As you can see, they are being pursued." Exalted Crimson Fox spoke slowly. His voice was so neutral that one couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. The demonic beast knelt down and cowed out. "Supreme Crimson Fox, I beg you, do you have a way to help them escape from those soul demons? Even if I have to sacrifice my soul so that I can never be reincarnated, it doesn't matter." Exalted Crimson Fox was silent for a while, then shook his head and said, "I'm sorry. The separation of yin and yang isn't something I can change. I can only let you know what you want to know." That was all. In this world, it's already not easy. Hearing this, the demonic beast suddenly stood up. In its soul form, its eyes were red. His voice trembled with a hint of anger. "If that's the case, why did you let me know? What's the use of just letting me know? You might as well not let us know." After saying that, it turned around and ran down the island. "Look, my fellow townsmen," Golden Lightning Leopard said with a trembling voice. Although this supreme crimson fox can understand yin and yang and divine the heavenly secrets, it can't change anything. Of course, I know that it's already not easy for us, who are already dead, to know these things. Interesting, Wang Feng said simply. He paused for a moment, but did not step forward. My fellow townsmen, I suddenly don't feel like asking anymore. Golden Lightning Leopard took 2 steps back. Why don't you go? I'll just watch. Wang Feng still did not step forward. Don't tell me you're afraid to? Golden Lightning Leopard asked. Wang Feng did not answer. You came from afar with a heavy responsibility. Why did you stop here? Supreme Crimson Fox suddenly asked. Wang Feng was very familiar with this kind of tone. He walked forward and sized up the Crimson Fox Venerable. From its appearance, it was impossible to tell what kind of species it was. Its soul energy was powerful, even stronger than the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor he encountered before. You're a human. It's not easy for you to come here, Supreme Crimson Fox continued. I've been waiting for you for a long time. You know what I'm here for? Wang Feng asked. Yes. Supreme Crimson Fox pointed at the ancient tree behind it. This is the purple ink soul-suppressing tree, a soul treasure formed from my soul energy. That demon god's demonic will is suppressed beneath the tree. You know me? Wang Feng asked again. I know you, and I don't know you, Supreme Crimson Fox said. Speak human. Don't play riddles with me. Wang Feng waved his hand. Supreme Crimson Fox was speechless. After a long silence, it slowly said, the demon god of desolation's soul was cut into 6 parts by that person and sealed in 6 locations outside the Nether River. I know the location of each demonic will. Later, the humans were chased out by the imperial demon god of the soul-cleansing sea. That demon god wanted to use the humans to create an opportunity for the demon god of desolation to break the seal. So, I came here to suppress the demonic will. At the same time, I deduced that the demon god of desolation's demon god of desolation was about to die. However, I didn't know how the demonic will of the demon god of desolation would die. That was until I saw a ray of light that was enough to suppress the heavens where those saint spell masters were. I think it might be related to that. You know a lot, Wang Feng said. What else do you know? Supreme Crimson Fox hesitated for a moment and glanced at Wang Feng. You have a tribulation in this world. What tribulation? Wang Feng asked with a smile. Is it related to the sea of reincarnation? No. Supreme Crimson Fox shook its head. It's the Peach Blossom Tribulation. Wang Feng looked at it in shock. How did you calculate that? Wang Feng asked. Your soul. Supreme Crimson Fox pointed at Wang Feng. There are too many threads of love. You might not be able to see them, but I can see them. Tell me about it. Wang Feng looked at Supreme Crimson Fox with interest. Actually, there was something else. Threads of love are an ethereal cause and effect. It's one of the causes and effects of the universe. It's also one of the thousands of origins derived from the yin and yang wills of the universe. Supreme Crimson Fox's tone was serious. Most of the lives in the universe are unable to see these causes and effects. These causes and effects will accompany the souls of the lives. Even death won't change. Only through reincarnation will new threads of love slowly grow. And the threads of love on your body are densely packed. Most of them are very thick and strong. This means that your female friends are very strong. It's very difficult to cut off your previous emotions. Wang Feng looked at the Crimson Fox supremacy seriously. Impressive. Since it was related to the will of the universe, it meant that Wang Feng couldn't deny it even if he wanted to, because he still hadn't come into contact with the mysterious will of the universe. Do all the lives of the Crimson Divine Sky, Fox race, have this ability? Wang Feng was silent for a moment before asking. You know about the Crimson Divine Sky Fox? Supreme Crimson Fox looked at Wang Feng in shock. No wonder there's a thread of love on your body. It's obviously disturbed. To have this ability, only... I see. It seemed to have understood something. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.